C10 Talk, episode 134. GSI Machine Fabrication, part 4 of our chassis tech series. The fellas stop by the studio, and we lay it down. Damn, son.
Welcome to C10 Talk, your C10 truck podcast. Here's your host, Ronnie Wetch.
Here we go. GSI number 4, finally kind of getting this one out to you guys. Happy Friday, and it's been a long time coming. I sat down and to think, it's a crazy idea to put a couple of these chassis companies, on pod, and then next thing you know, before we know it, we've got 9 companies, and first of all, I'd like to thank each and every one of them that took the time to sit down with me and record some pod. Initially, the objective was to maybe get like a half hour, which, I'm probably telling these guys 20-30, and we know that that's going to end up being a little longer. Well, then they just got longer and longer. And then the GSI guys are down the road. They're literally like within 10 miles down the road. They come by and we had a good time. And I'm thankful that everybody had the time, and I'm thankful that, some guys, including the GSI guys, were able to come by the studio. So this is a long one. And that's all right, though, because it's good to get caught up with everybody in the scene and, just get some of the backstory and dive in. So these guys are moving and shaking. You guys see them all over their social media. They hit the shows. I think they are going to the C10 Nationals, so you'll probably see them out there. Hopefully, if you get a chance, you'll listen to this in your treks that weekend. Obviously, the May 3, 4, 5 weekend's a busy weekend from LS Fest West to C10 Nationals and then Battle in Bama. So tons going on for the C10 Nation. And this is number 9. This is the last one for our chassis tech series. Hopefully, you guys got some good information from everything. I know I did. I get a feel for not only the company, the components, what goes into these chassis that these guys are building. There's so much going on, and everybody's slammed, and that's a good thing because the C10 movement is kicking ass, and you guys are out there buying trucks, building trucks. If it wasn't for these component companies, these manufacturing companies, I don't think that we would have quite the scene that we have. So it does take kind of that perfect storm where we have the trucks, we have the builders, the guys, the fan of the truck that wants a truck, that builds a truck, and then we have so many different people building, or components from that out of necessity for us to do what we want, to lay frame, to have coilovers, to have the ride, not only the height, but the reactivity that we want. So again, thank you to everybody that sat down with us from all the way from Porterbuilt, Acme, Chop and Block, Self-Made, Roadster Shop, going through Justin from Scot's, Total Cost Involved, Vince, Chop and Block, I think I said that, and then obviously GSI taking it home. So we had 9 different companies, and it was a lot of fun. This episode is going to be brought to you. I'm just going to get the commercials out of the way so you guys can just sit back and binge listen. It is about a 2-hour show, so hopefully you enjoy it. It was fun. We go off kilter a little bit, but that's what it's all about when you're sitting up here and we're cracking cold ones. None other than Classic Performance Products, CPP. They're going to be out at the C10 Nationals. Head over to their booth at C10 Nationals. Tell them I sent you. And they're probably going to have a couple of they're going to have their hats, and they're going to have the, what do you call it, kind of a fender protector when you're working on your truck. They'll have some of those spooled up. So tell Kathy I sent you over there. Tell Sadie, tell Jim, whoever's over there, tell them Ronnie sent you. Hit the booth up and say hi. They usually have a really nice spread at the C10 Nationals, so go by and check them out. If you're looking for suspension components, coilover, modular spindles, a static drop, a 4.6, fuel tanks, steering boxes, anything braking, CPP, classicperform.com is going to be your go-to. If you mention C10 Talk, you're going to get 10% off. So mention this ad, C10 Talk. Tell them I said hi if you're going to the C10 Nationals. And if you're going to upgrade that suspension, hit up Classic Performance Products. This also is brought to you by AccuAir. Now, you think about GSI and you think about putting that truck on air, think about AccuAir. Without a doubt, the leader in air management. CVT, compressor valve tank, CT, compressor tank, valve tank, VT, or just tank. If you want the best, you want AccuAir. Number one in the biz. These guys have been doing this for getting close to 2 decades, and they know air management. So when you want the best, and you want the best for your truck, and you're listening to C10 Talk, AccuAir. AccuAir.com. Follow them on Facebook, follow them on social media, Instagram, AccuAir.com. Also today, AZ Pro Performance. If you're looking to upgrade, anything on your C10, on your truck, now OBS, they're definitely out there, and they're getting hot. I want you to think about AZ Pro Performance. I want you to give Travis or Nick a call and talk to them about what your plans are, and they will walk you through everything that you need to do. Not only do they do this to their own trucks, but they assist people every day on, okay, what wheel do I need? Well, I have this brake, back spacing, size. You'll hear Scott talk a little bit about back spacing. Wheels are one of the most important things, and AZ Pro Performance, properformance.com, they're literally the wheel specialists. They know their wheels, they know their back spacing, they know what'll fit, and they know what'll fit with the braking. So you want Boyd Welding, you want Dakota Digital, you want AccuAir, you want Chop and Block, Curry Enterprises, you want React, Ride Tech, they have it. If you're looking to upgrade, properformance.com, tell them I sent you. Last but not least, Dakota Digital. You've heard me talk about my gauges. I love my gauges. If you're thinking about upgrading your interior and making your interior pop, dakotadigital.com. Without a doubt, if you want the retro look, but you want the responsiveness of modern technology, you need to think about their new RTX. The RTX series is the latest from Dakota Digital, focused on retaining that stock look without sacrificing the late model features you love. Every effort has been put forth to incorporate OEM design elements regarding the layout, face styling, and indicators. A casual glance may dismiss these are original equipment, but once you hit the switch and the LED backlighting comes on in your favorite color scheme, all doubts will be removed. You look at it, it looks OG. You flip the switch, you know it's not. So when you're getting ready to upgrade that interior, dakotadigital.com. All right, a few other announcements to get to. Brothers Trucks is having their 21st annual show and shine, but they moved it. It was going to be June 16th. Now it's July 7th. So make plans accordingly. You can get on their social media. I know they're having their summer sale. I think there's like 5 days left. I take that back. Their spring sale. They're going to have that sale, and then they're also going to start marketing the truck show. So their 21st annual show and shine. I think registration opens May 6th. Bottom line is July 7th. They moved it from June 16th, which was Father's Day. They probably had a little bit of a tough time, with that day. That's a tough day. And it looks like July 7th is going to be the day for the 21st annual Brothers Show and Shine. They moved the location, but I'm told that it's as good, if not better. So mark that down on your calendars, July 7th. Let's see, what else do we have? Now, I think the Good Guys Ohio and Brian Ashley's show sounds like they are the same time. That's going to be part of that C10 Quattro. So if you're out at the Southeastern GM Truck Nationals and you're in Tennessee, or you're going to hit that show, make sure you're looking at your dates accordingly and get with Brian. I've been told, I've been told that's a killer show. So we want to make sure we support those guys. Tons of shows going on, tons of things going on. I'll be headed out to LS Fest West, and I'll be doing some media from there. I look forward to hearing back from everybody that's hitting those shows that weekend, C10 Nationals, Battle in Bama, and we'll be up in Vegas at LS Fest West. If you followed, I was thinking about driving Yellowstone, but my ECU is no longer working. So I sent my ECU back to Holly, and I'm waiting on getting the new one back. So I will give you guys the update when that comes back. Not sure exactly why or what happened, but went through a sequence of tests, and they sent me some new programming, tried to reflash it, and it didn't take. So shipped the ECU back, and word on the streets is they're sending me one, and then I'll hit the wizard, reflash it, boom, go through, and I'll have a new computer. Well, not reflash it. I don't really need to reflash it because it'll already be set up. I just have to set it up to the truck, and I'll be back on the road. If I get it done in time, I'd like to drive Yellowstone up to LS Fest West and potentially pull Johnny G's truck. That's the plan, is I'm going to pull the trailer and get Johnny G's truck up there, Blue Moon. Whether or not that's Duramax or Yellowstone is yet to be seen. So you guys will see that if we do, because it'll be a cool pick. But hopefully you guys had a good Easter. It's getting hot here in Phoenix. Started tearing apart my son's 66. Actually, I got home from work this morning and he had it completely tore apart. So we need to do a little bit more tech on that. We're going to do a little 4.6 drop, CPP, and then he's putting the LS conversion. So as long as he doesn't go too fast and we can put some of that stuff on video and get you guys updated on some of that stuff, that'll be a fun one to follow. Thank you guys for listening. Thanks for the support. We're working on some new hats for you guys. And just keep doing what you're doing. Keep building those rad trucks. Keep supporting not only C10 Talk, the C10 Nation, obviously our sponsors, and we'll keep laying down the pod. I've got Finnegan up next, and then I'll have some show coverage from LS Fest West. You guys know how to get a hold of me, Ronnie at C10 Talk, Ronnie at C10 Talk. If you need something, please take time to rate, review the show. That's always important to us. Share the podcast. Let us know how we're doing, and keep on trucking. All right, guys, have a great week. Late. All right. In studio, the last one, chassis series. The boys are in the house, so kind of cool that local, we can sit down in the shop and we can hang out. And we've got Scott, we've got Anthony, we've got Dan, all from GSI. You guys are here, and the way this started was probably like a 20-minute episode. But that's quickly changed. So the first series, that was like a 2.5-hour episode, and I don't want to go that long. So we got you. So let's just hang out and have fun. Talk about suspension, C10s, and chassis, and honestly GSI. So
and then we play Mario Kart.
We can play Mario Kart anytime. Okay. Scott wants to play Mario Kart. So
I'm calling anybody out.
So on your radio dial, left to right for me, you got Scott, and then in the middle you've got Anthony, and then you got Dan on the right. So. You did listen, and you've heard that. I think it's good to get the word out. My thought, Anthony, was just, dude, let's talk about chassis, and it's crazy I think this is, so I've done 9 now, and just, I haven't dropped it all to everybody, but it's cool to hear other people talk about other companies and talk about them in a good way.
Right.
Tell us about GSI. Tell us about why you guys started and what's going on over there.
Well, GSI started because we've always built cars and hot rods and always just like building things mainly.
Scoot forward.
More than anything. Building stuff and making things is like what my passion is. So when I was a little kid, I would go to work with my dad, and he always had catalogs at the shop where he worked. And so I would look at those and just always think about being able to make that stuff. And mainly it was an old catalog from Art Morrison. So that catalog was always at the shop, and I would thumb through that and kind of, I guess, dream about making that type of stuff. I thought it was really cool and neat. And, my dad built a 27 Roadster when I was a little kid. And then we've just kind of always built that type of stuff. I built a 67 Chevy Nova when I was like 16. I started that project. Got that probably when I was about 15. And we built a full frame for it. We built basically everything. Scott remembers that. We had it at the shop. I had it forever.
We used to push that car out of the shop every morning just to work.
And to work,
End of the day, we had to push Anthony's fucking Nova back inside.
You can cuss.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And,
yeah,
man. I mean.
So I think that's the car you had at the shop when we recorded the YouTube video that we did, and I remember it being
it's a silver car.
It was a big block, but it was a silver Nova, very loud, very loud. Yep. More horsepower than you probably knew what to do with. Do you still have it?
I still have it.
Is that something you'll keep forever? Because that was your car. That was your.
No, it's for sale.
Yeah.
Who wants it?
I mean, we put it up for sale one time, and I had it on eBay, and nothing really came of it. But I don't know. I've tossed it around back and forth. I mean, I would like to sell it because I don't really use it. It's a drag car, so it's not like it's something that you can drive on the street. It's mainly for drag racing. So
is that how you built it? Did you build it to be a drag car?
Well, everything takes a an evolution, right? So it started off kind of being like a streetcar type thing, and then my dad built his 27 Roadster as a drag car back in the day, and then turned it into a streetcar. And so the Nova was kind of going to be like that. It was going to be a streetcar, and then it just turned into a drag car, and the more stuff we did, the more it became a race car. So it wasn't...
So you've always been a builder.
Yeah.
Your dad was a builder. We've met your dad. Great. I mean, couldn't be one of the nicest guys, at least the time, my 2-3 times that I've met him. Oh, yeah. Are you, when you look back, you've always been a builder. Your dad's a machine shop. That seems like that's where you're from. What was GSI before GSI and Anthony and Scott and Dan and Nick and all these guys got together? Explain a little bit to the audience what GSI was before that, and then how you evolved into a truck building chassis company.
So GSI was and still is a machine shop. So that's what we started in 2000. Me and my dad started in 2000, and we were a machine shop. And when he worked for Dillon Precision, he decided that they were done developing products for that company. And so him and the owner decided that, and they were focusing on the Dillon Aero side of the things that were going on. And so at that time, kind of as a family, and then we all talked, and then my dad talked with Mike about that, and we decided to start GSI International to be a supplier to them.
How long did your dad work at Dillon for?
My dad worked at Dillon for like 30 years.
And Dillon is another machine shop? Manufacturing?
Dillon Precision, they had a machine shop, and then they were basically just a manufacturer of reloading equipment. So my dad helped design and develop a lot of the products that they sell and that they have sold in all this time. So once we decided to do the GSI International, which was a machine shop, mainly a manufacturer, that's what we did, and we still do today. That my brother runs that side of it more than I do now. My brother, we had him come in, and he mainly runs the machine shop side. That's how me and Scott, we were friends before, but that's how me and Scott have been together for so long. I mean, I've known Scott.
Whoa. You said together.
Yeah.
Can we straighten that out real quick?
Together. You guys have been together.
Dub that over a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that was kind of like, hey, Anthony, you still got that machine shop? Let me get a job, That's kind of how that happened, 15 years ago.
Yeah, at least, I mean, all of my friends have pretty much worked there or worked with us and done stuff. Yeah. And
I'm just the one that won't go away.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm going to turn this gain up a little bit. So I got the volume up here, and which way is gain? Yeah, turn the gain up. I want to make sure, because you guys are a little bit further, so...
At the top or the bottom?
I think it
That's
says
pattern.
Go a little closer.
Patterns up top and gains on the bottom.
Okay. So I just want to make sure we're coming across, because I'm loud. So I made sure this was here for you guys.
Yeah. Oh, don't let Dan see that.
No?
You got a whole nother podcast if you let Dan see that.
Yeah? Is he a jackrabbit or is he a lion?
No, he's a Toro.
He's a Toro.
Wow. He still lives in Toro land, though,
Oh,
even
that's
though
all
he's 38 years old. 37?
Dude, I swear to God,
kidding,
half
dude.
the guys I know have moved back into Toro land.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. That's a great place,
I'm not saying physically in Mesa.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying
no, these guys are in Toro land, man. A lot of the dudes.
You never got a cup?
So for the audience, we all went to the same high school, and I'm just a few years older than these young guys, but it's pretty funny. I actually was going to write an article one time in one of the street trucks or C10 Builders Guide, how many guys in the C10 world are from the same high school. And when you look at even what's his face, like Dan Glauser, right? Mm-hmm. The guy, Porterville, you guys,
there's some young guys coming up
there's another guy who had a truck, and I was like, who the hell? I'm trying to think who it is. Another guy had a killer truck that's from Mountain View. And,
Mason, I mean.
Oh yeah, that's exactly. Mason Wright, that's who it was. So the owner of Larry and Nacho, we all went to the same high school, different eras, and I'm trying to think.
There's more of them too.
I mean, there's more of them, and I mean, we all went to school relatively in the
pretty much rich white kids with dads that have money, but nowadays, but not when I was there, obviously.
No, I mean, yeah.
But I'll tell you what, that's how I got hooked into 67 72s. My dad, my uncle had one. But there's two guys from Mount View, one guy I played football with and one guy who had a Blazer. And I was hooked ever since then. And it was just funny how that kind of your high school friends can kind of get you hooked into. Back on track, how hard is it to keep the when you guys go into the same building, and I've been to the shop, when you guys go into the building, how hard is it to keep it together from a separation or to work through when you, your dad, your brother are all there, but some guys are working on one side of the company and some guys are working on the other side of the company?
Like as a relationship?
No. Just like, how does that work? I mean, are you pretty much all, you guys, you three, there's really no crossover? Or do you have crossover and you guys don't?
I definitely have crossover. Like, I have a lot of crossover, and my plate gets really full, as you can imagine, like a lot. Because, yeah, I mean, my dad has always expected a lot out of me, and I put forth a lot, you know what I mean? Like, to that. Scott mainly worked in the machine shop before as well.
It was kind of like a transition, like, sort of like,
and so
we're going to start this thing. And then, yeah, I mean, I was doing a little bit of what we call MFab, you know, and then sort of just, no, I mean, dude, that's all, like, pretty much all I do now.
So what was your background, Scott, before you came full board or came on board? Or
with what? With GSI in general? Or, like, I mean,
both.
like, before?
Both to be a manufacturing...
Out of high school or whatever, I did, like, stupid jobs, you know. I worked at the freaking Bash's, Gilbert McKellops, what's up?
Yeah, that's right. I worked there too. And, I did too. That's so funny. But I worked at the old store on the other side.
Oh yeah, we had the little lobby up top. You go hang out.
Oh, yeah, it's still there. Kids are ripped.
Off track.
All right,
really did.
So now we're really
just random jobs, stupid jobs, and like I said, I hit up these guys and I was like, hey man, I need something to do. I need a job. Man, I started like sandblasting parts, sweeping floors, putting shit array, saw cut and stuff. You know what I mean? So, and then kind of just learn stuff, you know. They helped me they put me through school a little bit, took a couple classes on like programming and things like that, so I got real kind of heavy into the CNC stuff, you know, as far as programming and setting stuff up and making parts, and so I did that for a long time. And that was kind of where I was, and I thought that's where I'd always be. I love it, don't get me wrong, I still love to get back on a machine and make some cool stuff when time allows it. But as GSI MFab sort of grew its own legs and ran off, I just been doing that, you know. I mean, like I handle like all the sales calls, all the tech calls, tons of, you know, computer stuff that I'd never done before. Like, dude, you're talking invoices, QuickBooks, Job Boss, stuff like that, you know, because we're very, what we do in the machine shop, as far as like logging information, it transferred over to the fabrication and the chassis kind of world, you know what I mean? So like there's jobs like for a customer to get a chassis built, you know what I'm saying? So it's like there's like a log, like, you know, when he ordered, what parts are, and I'm sure it's gotta be similar. I can't imagine any company being successful and just being like, hey man, build a chassis, like, you know what I mean? So there's paper trails, there's, you know, logged information, there's inventory control and stuff like that. So I kind of I deal with that, like on a daily basis, like, dude, my wrist hurts, man. I've been emailing so much, you know, like, I got that carpal tunnel.
You're the office man.
Yeah, dude.
And I mean, from the manufacturing side of it, that really gives us a lot of knowledge about how to do that, you know, and manufacture chassis and the components that we do, because, like you said, we transitioned that from the machine shop, and that's just stuff that we've learned over time. I mean, none of us, well, me and Scott, Dan's been to college, but none of us are college educated. I mean, we're
on the job training,
just on the job training, doing it. You know what I mean?
I'm a firm believer, dude.
Yeah. And just adapting to what it is that you do. You know.
So I run the social media.
Is that your education through college?
Yeah,
marketing.
Degree was in public relations. So been doing internet marketing for about 10 years on and off, and just kind of doing that. I'm also Anthony's brother-in-law, so it's kind of like. It is like a family business. I mean, I remember when these guys were like 16, making trucks, like making a mess everywhere.
Are you into trucks or are you into marketing?
I'm into trucks now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's been hunting.
Dan likes sports. Dan likes a lot of sports.
Yeah. I mean, I played
like
football,
golf, football. Like he loves sports.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so
got a voice for radio, dude. I'm looking at that volume. It's picking it up. Got that deep voice. Got that beard. Dude, he's ready to go,
He's got the face for radio? That's what people say about me.
Yeah, that's what they say about me.
That's not a nice thing to say,
You got
right?
a face to cuddle with.
Oh.
Yeah, you got a face and a body to kill it
GSI
with.
Scot.
You and Joey G. You're the white Joey G.
For real? For real? Oh man, that's a nice thing to say.
That's
Gotta
good.
get that car collection.
So it's
Yeah, I
funny-
need a couple more cars.
Yeah,
if you
a
wanna
few
call me
more.
that.
To look back, are you at 5 years? Because I'm coming up on 5 years, and I feel like we kind of started about the same time.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, I was looking at some old stuff actually yesterday.
How old? Like Mountain View stuff?
No.
Or
I'm talking like
stuff?
GSI,
All right.
Machine Fab kind of like history stuff. I go down memory lane. Like I'm a sentimental dude. You know what I mean? And 2014 is when we kicked it off. Like the first cross member we ever built is still at the shop. I mean it's
Now, that's a chassis that's still there, right?
rough, bro. No,
No, I thought that was the first.
it's on
the
a
first
rack.
one.
No, actually the first
chassis.
Chassis? Yeah, we still have the first chassis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going anywhere. That's
Okay.
ours.
But what was your truck? That was the first chassis?
That was
or
the first. That was
The
you
blue
mean
truck that I had, the 66, was
kits.
a kit.
Oh,
So it was a
a
front
GSI kit?
crossmember kit and a rear
Just a
notch
notch
kit.
kit. Yeah, just
It was before we
panel
even
bar,
made
bag over axle. Like
before
just
we even
dirty.
made the back half or any of that type of stuff. And we sold that truck. Probably shouldn't have,
Oh, yeah.
but the guy wanted to have it, had to have it. So we're like, well, what the hell? I mean, yeah.
Why would you say you shouldn't have? Just for sentimental reasons, or why? What would you?
Just because it would be cool to still have, you know what I mean? Like, because everything got so busy, and so I don't really even have like a truck right now. I have a bunch of trucks, but I don't have like a truck that has any of our stuff on it really, because everything has gotten so busy, and so pretty much we put customer stuff ahead of our own stuff,
Not
right?
Scott. Every time I turn around, he's posting up pictures of his truck.
Well, his truck,
Yeah, but it's done. It's not like, well, today we got some new stuff going on, but that's another story.
Yeah.
No,
It's
like
cool-
he's
it's cool to
got
have
his
balance.
name on the list, like,
Yeah.
and it keeps getting bumped to
Gets
the
bumped
bottom.
down,
It's get bumped
on the
because
bottom.
because
He's got
when a
the truck
customer,
that's
you know,
ready for
like
a
I just
chassis.
say, well, okay, just put that in line for the customer because that's more important
It's a great problem to have.
to me than, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
than myself. And
So I would just wonder, like, what would you attribute the success to somebody who you guys came on the scene 5 years ago, along with, I mean, if we went through the 9 people we have interviewed, I would say it's about 50-50. It's a split, and you guys are like right in the middle because you've got some of the OGs, you've got
Yeah.
Porterbuilt, you've got Scots, you've got Roadster Shop, Chopping Block's been around. And then even Acme was saying, hey, I've been around a long time too. And then GSI, I would say you guys are the newest kid on the block that's the biggest kid on the block, meaning your success has really been successful.
Yeah.
And some of the other guys that I've interviewed have even, said, yeah, well, GSI, man, they've got their eye out. They're watching what you guys are doing. You guys are getting to the shows. You're traveling to the shows. You're meeting with the people. What would you attribute to that success in a 5-year period to crank out who knows how many, chassis?
Damn, I mean, you kind of nailed it. Like putting in the work, dude. Like kind of not taking no for an answer. Like saying we're the new kid on the block. Yeah, and we were treated as such for a while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it took a little bit to get out there and get people to kind of recognize. And we're not going away. I mean, we've talked several. I mean. You know what I mean? So as far as what would I attribute the success to?
So would you
like
change?
You want that, or you want?
Would you change it though? Like, because you say, oh, it didn't come easy, right? But you
No, I
wouldn't
wouldn't change
it.
the damn
Hell
thing,
no.
dude.
Yeah, yeah.
the
that's
best part is, you know what I mean, like starting from nothing. And some people could say, oh, well, you didn't start from nothing because you already had
Yeah.
a machine shop and whatnot or whatever. Okay, but so for the longest time, we had the machine shop, right? But I was never able to cut sheet metal parts. I was never able to bend sheet metal parts. I was never able to do any of that stuff because all I had was CNC mills and lathes, okay? And so you can do a lot with a CNC mill and a lathe, but you can't put a full sheet of 3/16 material up there and cut it. I mean, when we were younger and we were making stuff and we were building the things that we wanted to do, we were cheapskates. I mean, me and Scott, like, we would cut tabs, we would cut brackets, we would try to do that on the CNC. Was it cost effective for us to do that? No, but we didn't have any money to go out and buy all the tabs or, you know what I mean, like the stuff to buy that. I mean, I don't even know how many things we tried to build and that we did build and that we had a back bug, we did a truggy, we did all kinds of
need plate work, like sheet metal plate work. We would we would cut, like a 12 by 12, and we would machine CNC a fixture, right? And then we would CNC the shape of it, which is a huge waste of time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, compared to a laser that'll cut out a bracket, we built a beam for a 63 bug to put a bug on there.
Yeah.
And man, we made billet just because we couldn't make the plate work. We didn't even have like welding equipment. I mean, we did, but not like hardcore welding equipment. We didn't have a press brake. We started with water jet, which, that was sort of the evolution of the plate stuff. We started with the CNC cutting shit on the CNC. Then we went to a water jet, which we thought was like, oh my God, this is killer. And then it's like 4 hours later, now we're getting a little tab. Water jets, if you guys don't know, they're painfully slow.
They're messy. They're really slow. And so it was.
We were able to, fortunately, we did what we needed to do to get a laser. And
well, I mean, I had a friend who has a laser, and we were having stuff cut on the laser to supplement what the water jet couldn't cut, because Nick mainly runs the sheet metal stuff. And so, I mean, we would go home at the end of the nights filthy. It looked like we were, know
like in
what
the desert for 4 days.
Yeah, it looked like we would be in the
mud.
desert, and
it's
you
mud,
would
dude.
feel so dirty and gross. And I mean, that's just because of the water jet. But you say, well, would you change anything? No, because I mean, that gives you the learning experience, and then not only that, the appreciation for saying, okay, well, you know what, we're spending all this money to keep this water jet going, and it's costing us this much. Well, why don't we just get a laser and get rid of the water jet? And fortunately, we were able to put the water jet up, and we stored it at our at a storage place for a little bit, and then we got it sold. And at the same time, we were putting the laser in. And I mean, that appreciation that you have for not ever having to run a water jet again to cut mainly 3/16 and 1/4 inch steel and everything in between is like astronomical. You could never like experience that and then just forget that.
I mean, from the outside, I've only worked for the company about 6 months now, but it's like, you guys put in the work. Like, since you were kids, you guys, learned what trial and error. You guys worked hard. You learned. You're smart. They're smart guys. They knew that social media, like Anthony and Scott, have done great at social media. I feel like that's one of the things that's really set them apart. Like, they're smart dudes, work hard.
And like Scott kind of said before, not taking no for an answer. You know what I mean? Like, if you kind of see how like the trend is going with different things, I mean, in print ad and some of these different things that you have, like, there's always a person that's controlling that, right? And they're telling you yes or no, you can't be on this specific thing. Well, with the internet, I mean, and I did marketing for the gun stuff before, which is a tremendously difficult thing to market stuff in the gun world because everybody's against guns and none of them social media, like all this type of stuff. So I learned a lot from being able to do that. And then I don't want to say it was easy, but if you're trying to market firearm stuff and then you're trying to market truck stuff, it is way easier to market anything automotive related than anything gun related. Like,
well, everyone has a car. Everyone has a truck. I mean,
and so,
cool, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just
guns are cool, but
that aspect of it, I think, taught me a lot. I mean, Scott remembers that we would be trying to do that, and it was just like it's a huge pain in the butt to try to market things towards the firearms industry. And so then you market the stuff in the automotive stuff, and it's way easier, I feel like, at least for me, and then the advent, of having Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and then just the internet in general, and having your website. I mean, you can put anything out that you want, literally, like anything, cool. And nobody can tell you no. Like, literally, nobody can tell you no, that, oh, you can't post that picture. Oh, you can't post that video on YouTube. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, and there's people that will tell you certain things, you know what I mean? Like, but literally, you can put anything out there. Oh, you're trying too hard. Oh, you're doing this, you know what I mean? But why, you can put whatever you want out there.
Well,
and you can go to the shows, you know what I mean? You can go to any of these things and show your product to people.
Yeah, the gun world, I mean, I can't even imagine what you guys have dealt with from that perspective, although I do think that we have a guy at work who opened a gun shop, and he's like, dude, it's amazing how his profits and everything goes up just off the fear-mongering. And when somebody, it's like, they feel like Obama's going to take the guns away, they feel like this guy's going to take the guns away. And unfortunately, it's such a negative thing that as soon as some bad thing happens, ammo goes up, guns go up, and it's just, it's literally, he's been in business for, let's say, 5 years, and the success is based upon a negative situation in the amount of guns and stuff that they sell.
The one thing that you can say is the best salesman, the best gun salesman is the government.
Yeah, or Obama at one point, because there was so much, or Hillary, because they thought so much, they're going to take our ammos, and then, I mean, I've been there, I bought ammo just because I think they perceive, or, I'm going to buy my AR because I feel like they're going to take it away.
I mean, I bought,
which they really never can do. I don't think that they
I bought a dumpster full of 223 spent brass, and we sold it.
Yeah.
Through our other company, through our other side, you know what I mean? And it was a 4x6 by whatever dumpster, and it was full of just spent brass, and we sold it.
All right, back on topic. So let's talk a little bit more.
Did we cover that one though? I feel like we were all over the place. Like you talking about what do you attribute?
Well, I think the success you just I don't know. Do you feel like we did hard work, social media?
Yeah, I mean,
going through trials and tribulations and starting from scratch. And
I think everybody has to do that to see success in anything. Shit, man, relationships, marriage, business, whatever. There's ups and downs, and how you muddle through those is how you find your way.
Like, so what would you say, and I don't, this isn't, we're going to go off topic in the sense that the, for the most part, I've really tried to keep it uniform, but I've got you guys here. I've known you for 5 years from when it started. What would you say was the hardest part? To be what I would say right now, you guys are visioned as a top tiered suspension company in the chassis market for C10s. And you started 5 years ago. What's the biggest struggle been to get to this point?
That's a great question. What was the hardest part? Is that what it was?
The biggest struggle. Hardest struggle, however you want to look at it.
Man.
I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't
want
my sister to get mad. I don't want to get my sister to get mad at me. But besides the wives, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say that like some of the family stuff we gotta deal with, but that's on like a personal level. I mean, there's time. Travel is tough, especially for myself having a wife with 2 young kids. I try to be there for my boys as much as I can, but sometimes we gotta do that. So that's tough. But we make it happen. We make it work. That's like I said, personal. But as far as business goes, man, it's just getting over those humps. Like, okay, like when we started, like I said, I'm a sentimental dude. I was looking through old photos and stuff like that just yesterday. And I remember when we had a rack, like we could have a rack and it had one person's order on this rack. And I was like, oh, look how killer that, like, his crossmembers there, his control arms are there, like, this is how it's going to be, we're going to have 100 of these.
I remember a rack like that when we came to the shop.
Yeah, it was probably the same time, dude. I can tell you,
I mean,
Tony Lopez has that kit.
This is how we're going to organize it.
And so some of the hurdles was when we got really busy. And it was just like, holy crap, like, people are really digging this. It's taken off. And just sort of,
I think
sort of managing that, like as far and shit, dude, there's a whole bunch of dudes at the shop, so managing that kind of those dynamics is tough too. So managing kind of the growth, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
There's a commercial, and the audience, if you don't know the commercial, the best way I can explain it is this company opens, and I think it's like a shipping commercial. Let's say FedEx or UPS, and this company like has a widget, and they like, dude, they put it out, and then all of a sudden it's like 5 widgets, 6 widgets, 7 widgets. And they're like, sweet, we're kicking ass, and then all of a sudden it's 1 million widgets, and they're like, fuck, how do we do this? Mm-hmm. It sounds like that would be part of, like, hey, we grew fast. We had to manage the employees, which is people. Mm-hmm. Good luck. And then we had to manage customers, right? Because those are different people. And then I'm imagining, and I do not know, you fill in the blanks, was every product perfect? And did some stuff come back? Or were customers unhappy?
Dude, and that's something we go back and forth about all the time. Like, some of us are super picky in certain things, and then other, you know what I mean? So we're just trying to find the balance of the perfect product to get out there.
Have you ever had a customer who's like, I'm bringing this back, I don't want it?
Yes, sir. I'm straight up.
Yeah, our hood hinges that we first did, we thought it was a great way to do it, but it was a huge pain in the ass.
We're still fighting those battles, dude.
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm talking about? The hood hinges? The firewall?
I remember your hood hinge on your blue truck.
And for whatever reason, it worked like perfectly fine on that, and then when we tried to put them into production, it just didn't work.
We got them out there. Some of them failed. Some of them I never heard back about. But we were taking care. We were replacing. We were giving refunds and.
I don't think I knew that
like
it was they were coming back, but I guess if you think about it, it's not something I see you guys pushing at all.
People ask about them, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah,
I send them down to the other guy making the hinges. You know what I mean?
So if you had one product that I said you wish you would have put a ton more R&D before you pushed out, or you wouldn't even have done it, is that the product?
Yeah,
that would definitely be the
like
one.
We don't even to talk about it. Like it's just I see like remnants of like parts of them and I get mad. Like just because I have flashbacks of like pissed off customers and like my fucking hood hinges.
But really,
like,
I mean, a hood hinge. Don't get me wrong. That's a small thing when you think about a chassis and what you guys are doing now.
Well, because that stuff, we kind of nailed it before we brought it to the masses. You know, like we didn't just one day. I'm not saying anybody else did, but like put something together and we're like, boom, chassis done. Here you go. Like we built it. Like you know what I mean, and we checked everything out because that's a lot of money, man. Like you know what I mean. Someone's buying something, it's got to be good. So when there are circumstances where something's not perfect or up to standard, we've cut chassis in half and thrown them away. Like like seriously, and some of the guys who know that, they're like crying, like how could you do that? You know what I mean? Like there's hours of welding, dude. I mean there's miles of welding on those frames, and if it's like it's a little out square, you know, because kind of everything's fixtured and jigged and stuff, and how welding is heat, shit happens, right? So until we got that process down 100%, there was some flaws, and we would take them off and chop them up. Just make sure that even the garbage man couldn't pull it out of the garbage and use it for something.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys might have some dumpster divers now. The word gets out.
No, there's
absolutely no way.
Trust, we got enough eyes on the scrap. It's gone before the dumpster diver can get to it. But no, we try to destroy, and that comes back from some of the stuff we've done for the machine shop. Like if there's bad parts, like non-conforming product over there, it has to be destroyed. You can't just throw it away.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like you can't. Some of the stuff is pretty serious.
Yeah, well, and the main thing with that is like if you said, hey, okay, well, yeah, this one's a little bit messed up, but we'll sell it to you for a discount or whatever.
Yeah, that's bad.
We never wanted. Then
he resells it.
Yeah,
we never wanted to do that because we know that it'll always come back to us.
That's classic dudes, man. No, I got a smoking deal on this.
Yeah, you have no idea how many people.
Oh yeah, I don't want to know
like that.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean that's just a huge pain in the butt, and at the end of the day, our product and our brand is what we want to push to people and not have, you know what I mean? I'd rather cut something up that we have days in than end up having someone have something that's not correct or screwed up or, you know what I mean? Because someone's buddy's friend, sister's cousin, found it at the scrapyard or, you know what I mean, got this, and then they call us and we're like, well, we don't have you as a customer, but now we feel that we have to take care of that person.
Which has happened. I mean,
yeah, or somebody resells it, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, so have you ever had a chassis that came back and the guy's like, no, and you're like, listen, you're a GSI customer. We want you to be a GSI customer. We're not gonna not let you be a GSI customer. And they're like, nah, I'm ready. I don't want the chassis anymore.
Yeah. And I mean, and what we did from there?
No, and meaning that they didn't update. We didn't, you lost them as a customer, or because I feel like you would say, no, well, you're gonna be my customer.
Yeah, but not like it's more like, hey, what will make you happy?
No, I don't mean you're like freaking Roadhouse and them. I mean, yeah, like I'm here. That's a compliment.
Yeah, but you can't be telling people that.
No, that's a compliment. Just because you're the white Joey G doesn't mean you're gonna bust them up, man.
Bitchin'. Anyway, no, dude. Yeah. So what? I mean, dude. I swear to God, someone had a little issue. We've replaced it.
Yeah.
A full chassis. Give me that one back. I'll give you a brand new one that we know is 100%. We'll go over it with you and make sure you're satisfied with it.
And then you sold that one for half off?
No, I think we gave it away or something. We put it on eBay. No.
Serial number 6521.
But yeah, dude. Yeah.
Well, let's jump into some of the questions that I've been asking all of the companies, right? So we can actually get on track here. You told us about the company. You've been in business for 5 years. What don't we know about your product? What would you say is a question or a product, or an option that maybe the guys or the girls or the C10 Nation doesn't know about GSI? Something that's like sets you apart.
Well, I mean, as far as a product that somebody doesn't know about, that's not. I mean, we got some plans to make some new stuff. That stuff that's like in development, But man, if you watch us, it's all out there.
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like we're not really. There's none of that like keep it secret type of thing. If we're working on something, which is almost to a flaw sometimes, because then like we're making some small parts and someone will see it and be like, oh, I want it, and they'll call and try to buy it and order it, but it's not even available. So as far as anything that we make that
nobody knows about, we're an open book. I mean,
well, I don't think that way. I guess maybe the better way to rephrase it would be that I think social media is so fast that people don't really dive in. What would be the biggest question about your product? That
a lot of people ask if we do coilover stuff.
Okay.
Yes, we do. Yeah. Hell yeah, we do. Like, we're doing a coilover Suburban chassis right now for somebody. And that actually just happened today. You know what I mean? So, and they call and they go, hey, I really like your chassis, blah, 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 but I don't want to do air ride. Mm-hmm. No problem. And really the only reason is we don't do a lot of coilover stuff. So it's not like we have it there long enough to take photos and do all that kind of stuff and market the coilover side of it. Like we have coilover like cross member, coilover notch kit, coilover back half, and coilover full chassis. But that's probably something we get asked a lot.
Is that what you're kind of thinking?
So you're getting that? Like,
yeah. I mean, that's probably one of the main things that I would say. And I love airbags and all that type of stuff, but I like to go fast. And I like coilovers a lot. I mean,
But you can go fast with airbags.
Yeah, you definitely can.
Yeah. I've been telling them that for years.
Yeah.
But
that's funny. The perception is that you can't, but you can.
No, like you can definitely go fast and you can have high horsepower, but I'm talking like...
I see a lot of big trucks going real fast.
My thing is like racing. Like I said, my car snowballed from like a street car into a race car, right? I mean, I'm pretty much...
Yeah. And he was racing the car. But
that's what I love about C10s, right? Or just humans. We all think, okay, well, I'm going to build this C10 and I'm going to be racing, 180. But we're really not.
No.
Even like a stock chassis can handle some pretty rad shit. And it's like, well, I do think, what way are you going? It's like, okay, well, I'm going to go airbags or I'm going to go coilover. I wonder if you marketed your coilover more, if then you would get more coilover. You know what I mean?
Probably. I'm sure we would.
Yeah, I'm sure we would. Yeah.
People call, they shoot emails, they say, yeah, like I was saying, hey, I like your airbag chassis, whatever. Can you build me a coilover option? Yeah. It's not a one-off. Like, yeah, we do it. Like, we have everything we need to make you a coilover.
So right now, one of the questions I ask a lot is what's your percentage if you look at airbag versus coil? Maybe, I mean, as of today, let's just say as of today.
Man, I'd probably, 90-10.
Yeah,
like,
90-10,
dude, we do a lot of airbags. And that might be because the guy you're talking to is like, oh, don't be scared of air ride. Like, I get those guys who are like, oh, I want to go fast. And I'm like, I'm the same, just like you said, you can do it.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be scared. Like, and the advancements in the suspension, not just your management, but like, the geometry that these guys are putting into stuff, ourselves included. Like, it's not like you're hacking up your old truck in your garage and stuffing an airbag where a coil spring used to go, and now you got fucking bump steering, you're all over the road and shit, and then you got some cheap, air compressors and all. I mean, between the new suspension stuff that's out these days and management packages, there's really nothing to worry about. You know what I mean? And that's, I try to convey that to people because it looks, to me, that's the look, man. Your truck needs to be hammered on the ground. Like, it needs to be flat. It needs to sled. Like, it needs to, so really, I do talk to people a lot who are afraid of air ride.
Well, I think the old school, you know what I mean?
Older dudes, yeah.
Like definitely. The old, well, not even the old, I mean, just like your back dually, you know what I mean? Like it was, we built that at the shop.
Like 99, 2000?
And like at your house. Yeah. And I mean, it was on the old school valves.
I think the key though is that,
I mean, it's just completely different.
We used to be able to, when you look at like the mini trucking world and slam stuff on the ground, in 99, 2000, the worlds have come together in that you can get the best of both worlds. You can have a laid out truck on air that can still go fast.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you think about the chassis and then you think about air management, it's like, okay, I've got AccuAir here, I've got GSI here, and I can put my metal on it. It's no different than saying back then in 99, 2000, you're running a Tonawanda 454 or some throttle body.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, it's like, if you think about that, it's like, well, look now, I've got LT4, I've got LSA, I've got this. So that, what's changed, right? You've got
just the technology. I mean, is
quality.
We're 15 years, 20 years.
Well, no, I mean,
well, and not only
that, like kids with no money.
No, I know, but right. So it's just to say that, like you kind of brought up an older guy or whatever, right? Yeah. The technology's there, and we're living it, whether we realize it or not. We have the absolute best of both worlds. You can buy the baddest, raddest chassis, whether you want to be air or coil, you can get the baddest, raddest air management. I mean, obviously the AccuAir Endo shit is amazing, and then you can get the baddest drivetrain, that can do amazing shit, or you can go old school if you want to do that. You know what I mean? You can do just about everything.
Yeah, and it's tough. Like, I know we keep saying old school, myself included, we say old school.
But it's not that
man,
long
it's
ago.
not.
Like, I mean, it's really not. And even
You're getting old, dude. 20 years ago, bro. That's a long time ago.
But if you look at, like, even manufacturing, like people ask about that all the time. Like, I really like to make things and manufacture stuff, but kids will talk about, like, how do you get into something or whatever. Dude, it's easier now than it ever has been. Like, being able to draw, like, everything, like a complete chassis. Like, I mean, that existed, but I don't feel like it existed like it does
Like the CAD stuff
today.
like
The CAD design, and then the ability to, like, the programming of the machines.
3D printers, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, really
that's
helps,
huge.
like,
Payson's got one.
yeah. I mean,
everything, you know what I mean? So it makes the product better.
Yeah.
Like, everything.
We should bring up Nick, dude. He's a 3D printing machine.
3D Magic Nick.
Dude, 3D Magic Nick. Magic Mike. One of the other ones is just option. So like frame stiffeners, control arms. You guys making your own control arms, obviously.
yeah.
I've seen some pictures of some pretty rad control arms.
So basically, I mean, we did we did plate ones, like flat plate ones, just to try to be a little bit different, you know. We nixed that pretty fast.
Nicked it or nixed it?
No, nixed, like,
Oh, yeah.
like, hey, we're not doing that anymore. Like,
Is that what you guys, you're like, we're nicking it?
I don't even know if Nick was around. I don't even know if Nick was.
think Nick
I don't
was,
know
like-
if Nick was there for the flat plate stuff, and if he was, it was like the tail end of it. No, he was there. He was definitely there. Nick's been in it for a little bit, so we got rid of that stuff. So as far as control arms, we did a lot of tubular stuff. We still do, and then we kind of transitioned to like that fab, like box looking one, kind of that sort of off-roady trophy truck type of thing. That's something we've been talking about for a long time, and then it just happened. And another thing we talked about for a long time, I mean, like probably longer than probably before we were making frames, was billet control arms. Like,
No.
so just recently we did a set. There's a couple trucks that are getting the billet uppers. We'll leave the lowers fab. You know what I mean? That's gonna stay that way. But did you see the billet uppers?
I mean, we come from...
I saw the trophy truck style that
Yeah, so
you
we do
sent
that.
me.
So we basically have, if you want to talk control arms, we have tubular, the full fab, like box ones. They're all like internally gusseted and they're all fully welded. They're like, probably 95% MIG welded and a little bit of TIG on the ends, like for the rod ends. And then the billet ones. And now that's not like a full blown, like you call me and say, hey, I want to upgrade to billet arms. It's just kind of like some special stuff. You know, there's a couple guys who got them, for now. It might turn into something.
That just reminded me of something. Other question we always get asked, or people don't know. Joey doesn't work for us.
Yeah.
I've had probably
He's
5
not
or
part
6
of the
people-
marketing team.
No, I tell him we work for him.
Yeah.
He's just a
He
rad
is.
dude,
No,
man.
he is. He's done a lot for us. Like, they're on his truck, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what we're
Yeah.
talking
The billet arms are
I'm
on
assuming they were on his truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Texas.
When Joey wants, Joey gets.
Yeah, he
That might
told
be
me,
the next
he kinda,
shirt, dude.
He kind of told me he'd kill me
the
if I
bitchin' shirt
didn't
coming out
have
next.
billet arms on his truck for LST.
Yeah, the bitchin'
And I
shirt is
believe
going to
him.
be him with the bitchin' shirt, and then what Joey wants, Joey gets.
That's the next one.
Yeah, it's no brainer.
GSI Motivus.
So when we talk about some of these guys, for you guys listening, we're thinking Nick Cortina, and we're talking about Joey G, the one and only. Dude, the guy's got more trucks than, I mean, he came into the scene, and I mean, it started with, I'm trying to think, like, he's got a couple Tahoes, 2-door OBS
Oh, he's got more
Tahoes.
shit than we even know about.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
Like,
he
rattled them off
I'm
one day.
going to straight up say he's got 20 trucks, and we know about 10 of them, and every one that he has is bitching.
Dude, Joey's got 20 warehouses with 20 trucks apiece in them. You know what I mean? Dude, one day he was like, I got this, I got this, I got this, I got this. I was like, damn, dude, I thought you had like, 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. I think he came out, I think Redbox might have been his first, like...
Yeah, that was where we were like, who is this guy? So he bought Davey Brooks's
Yep.
red Blazer,
Yep.
changed it up, and then he took it to LST 2 years ago. I mean, now that we're 2018, so that's not even
That's
that long
crazy,
ago.
yeah,
and then all of a sudden, then you're like, oh, who's this guy and who's this cat? And then next thing you know, it's Joey G, the bitchin' man, and he's got a whole entourage of really rad dudes who like to have a really good time.
Oh, yeah.
And if you get the chance to meet him, he's as nice as could be.
Yeah, he's just a nice dude. And
Yeah.
He's good.
super
He's
cool.
good for the scene. Like he's
Don't touch the truck.
no, don't touch
And
his
he's not
truck.
paying us to say all this, dude.
No,
Seriously,
no.
So
Well,
very
maybe.
good.
Some
Yeah,
point.
maybe GSI.
You know what I'm at?
So let's see, full chassis or front and back cap. What are you seeing more of right now?
Dude, we do a lot of both. Full chassis, they take longer to make. They're quite a bit more expensive.
They're
but
worth it.
what's that?
They're so worth it.
Yeah, they're worth it. I mean, if you think about it, man, like you put a front kit on a truck, you put a back half on a truck, and then like a frame stiffener and all the cool shit, you're at a full chassis. And then you got these spaghetti rails in between, you know what I mean? And usually they're all screwed up, unless you found a gem that hasn't been roached or, you know. So
that's the number one thing. I mean,
And
if I had to break down
again,
this,
I guess I'm not really answering your question. Full chassis or full probably more chassis right now. But the kits come in waves, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like...
Well, and the kit's kind of like between our website and then some of the people that also help answer the phone. Like, Scott really maintains, and he's the sales guy that you're going to talk to for a full chassis. Like, because there's a lot of
questions and
options and things that need to be...
So when you say kit, you're saying front and half, back half.
Yeah,
frame
back half.
stiffener.
Yeah.
So
So,
you're piecing it together.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, maybe he won't see some of those sales come in because they'll come in through the website. So, I mean, we still sell
That's
a
true.
lot of front and back half kits. Like, there's a lot of people that do that. And I was listening to the other episode that you had, and it's the same thing that other people kind of had said, that it's like, you know, if you're going to have a shop install a front kit and a back half, and you're going to have a shop do all this stuff, by the time you have, and we've told that to a lot of people, that by the time you have that labor involved and stuff like that, you can pretty much buy a chassis. And that's the way that you should go, because...
Yeah, I mean, if you can convey it to them in that type of way, they get it. But then there's the weekend warrior, you know, there's the dude who's got $3,000 who can knock out a front kit in a weekend. So dude, those are the guys that I really like. Dude, I become friends with these dudes. You know, we talk 100 times, you know.
Yeah, and they may want a full chassis, but
They may want a full chassis.
what I want, I need, or what
I got a
They
tax
can't-
return.
Maybe they
and
can't
so,
afford it,
hey,
or just, you know, I mean...
Yeah.
And so we definitely try to cover all of those bases for people. And like you said, it definitely happens a little bit quicker for a guy who wants to call in and just order a front kit, and maybe they have something going on in the back that they've already done and that type of thing.
Oh, I get
So-
a ton of that.
You know what I mean? So it definitely...
guys fabbing up their own
Built
back half.
built my own rear
Yeah.
kit, blah, blah, blah. And,
Yeah.
you know, okay, cool, whatever. And then, because the front's the problem. I mean, that's
The
where...
front is definitely harder to build and do, you know what I mean? Especially if you want to get it on
What's
the
the
ground.
cost? I mean, I think you guys are right there with everything else. What's the cost of a front? What's the cost? Back, what's the cost? What's the cost of a full GSI chassis?
Front kit, which is crossmember arms, bag, shocks, rack and pinion, training crossmember, motor mounts, the whole kind of... Everything you need. What I tell people is ball joint to ball joint. No spindles. $3,200.
Okay. Is there a notch or no notch? Is it dropped below? Is your
We've never had a notch. Like
Okay.
we've
You've
kinda-
engineered it to have the rack and pinion below the chassis.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of how we've managed to eliminate and minimize the bump steer and the camber issues and all that kind of stuff with an airbag truck. Like, dude, they drive amazing. Like, you know, a Huckleberry, that truck just cruises. Dude, it skates 80 miles an hour. You take your hand off the wheel. You can hit level 3 and you're not changing lanes. You're not getting all weird.
You cannot do that with Yellowstone.
Well,
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely
kind of
not.
why these
You
kits
cannot do
exist,
that with
you know what I mean?
Yellowstone.
Yeah.
You're going to keep 1.5 minimum on the steering wheel. It's kind of
Yeah,
rough.
we-
And by no
we've done
means
it.
do we suggest people doing that type of stuff, but,
Yeah.
you know, you can...
You can. And I've done it.
Hey,
We've
if
made,
you want
you know,
to take your hands off the steering wheel, it's on your own time.
Yeah,
We're-
yeah.
We're not
PSA.
condoning...
Don't do that shit.
yeah, don't do that shit. Hey, Mom, look. Shit.
So yeah, okay, $3,200.
$3,200 for a front.
And then we have rear
Ball sack
systems.
to ball sack.
Yeah, ball sack to ball sack. You get your own spindles.
Right.
We've designed, we started with the CPP spindle. So 63 to 72 run a 71.2 spindle. Drop spindles are only required if you're running a 22 or larger. It'll tuck 24s, it'll turn and all that kind of stuff. If you're running a 20 or smaller, you can get away with a stock spindle and you'll still lay frame. The geometry is still good. It's all there. Like, I mean, I got guys running 15s.
But how does that work if you're with the modular spindle? You're getting tucked further in.
It's about 3/4 of an inch tucked in further. So the
so
full
it depends
chassis.
on what wheel you're running and what.
Oh, yeah, all that type of stuff
everything, and
depends
that's
on-
that's another point.
Oh
like,
yeah, people don't realize that it
how
starts-
sensitive these things are
Yeah.
to backspace on your wheels. Like, you can't just go buy a set of wheels and then build like this front end. Like, it's got to kind of. I do like when people start with wheels. So you kind of got to have a game plan of wheels, you know, front wheels. Front wheels are pretty specific. Like, you can't be stuffing a 2410 with a 3-inch backspace up front and expect this shit to work.
So
It
what's the
just doesn't.
backspacing for the most time?
I usually recommend an 8 to 9 with, 5.5 to 6 inch backspace, which is standard on a C10, really. I mean,
So most guys are running a 20 to 22, 8 to 9 with
5.5
to 6 backspace.
Yeah, I mean 5 3/4 stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I mean, it's
and depending on
the C10s aren't as sensitive as the early model trucks like the 55.9s. Those there's basically one shot at that. You know what I mean?
just because that thing is already on the ground to
They're,
begin
well, they're
with.
narrow, like
Yeah.
47 to 53 are very narrow trucks.
Yeah, that's
55 to 59 is a very narrow truck. The square bodies are a little bit wider. They have a little bit wider.
So I think that's got to be a huge question that you get asked, you
Yeah.
know, or an educational point that you
Yeah.
are giving them. Say, listen, what wheel are you running? Are you running transits?
Yeah.
You know, or what are you looking at? Because we need to make sure that that's going to fit and tuck the way that you want it to tuck.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's a huge...
So I mean, so the big thing difference there is there's guys like most of the guys who are doing like front end kits and notch kits, they're a little more budget minded. You know what I mean? So those guys they get transports or they got wheels from their friend or they got some you know whatever cheaper wheels, right?
Budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dudes who are going all out on full chassis. I mean, dude, they're stuffing LSXs and LS3s and Don Hardys and yada yada, and they got no problem buying billets. Tell me what specs, I'll get them made right now. You know what I mean? So, I definitely drive that too. Like when there's guys that call me, I have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like straight up, they're like, I just want a really cool truck. Kind of build it for me on paper and let me know what to do. So I mean, I'll lay it all out for them. I'll tell them these are the wheels you want. These are the specs. This is the axle width. Blah blah blah. These are the brakes that'll fit. Everything will work good. So I kind of build it for them on paper, and then the front's like back to the. I guess we're going all over the place. The backs are wide open. Like
You're steering this thing, dude.
backs are wide open. Back space. The rears are wide open, dude. I mean, I got guys with 2415s with 2 3/4 backspace.
The biggest we ever had was what, a 16?
2616.
Was that that green advanced design truck you had? Those wheels?
No, those
No.
are 2415s.
Oh.
That's just a one-off like 2x4 chassis. That's nothing we'll ever make like that one. We'll make the AD, but not that way.
Right.
Yeah, you can't really sell that because it's just the wheels are too big. Like they're just, you know what I
I
mean?
mean, if you
There's so
saw the
much
sheet metal work involved to make that tuck, like
Yeah,
I mean,
it's insane.
yeah. So that's pretty crazy.
So just go back on track.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the back half on a
Okay.
C10?
So rear systems, we kind of have three different versions, right? So 2200 gets you like the standard notch kit, which is just you lay it over your frame rails, you have bolt holes to locate everything, and then you weld it up. You cannot just bolt it on and be good. It's got to be welded. So that's outboard bags, outboard shocks, 4-link, and a panhard bar. That's $2,200. Those ones are few and far between. Because they support like a 10-inch wide wheel. So when the guys, if they want to run a 12, then you got to jump up to the Wattslink kit, which is $2,500. That puts everything inboard. Inboard bags, inboard shocks, inboard 4-link, and our billet Wattslink.
And I'm assuming you are trying to sell the watts anyways to have versus a panhard bar.
Yeah, well, if a guy's
it comes-
running a 10-inch, like an 8 or 10-inch wide, I'm going to steer him towards the panhard just because the outboard bags and stuff, like we've done some hybrid stuff with an outboard bag, but a Wattslink and whatever, but, it's just, it's more suitable for their application. I don't want a guy, I mean, think about it. You run a 10-inch wide tire and everything's inboard. I mean, you want
looks a
your
little funny,
suspension,
yeah.
It looks weird, but you want your suspension outboard. I mean, you want your bags out there, you want your shocks out by the wheel. So, if a guy's telling me, no, I already have my 10s or I got 15 by 7s, they're running some scheme, like, yeah, we're going to go outboard with you, dude. You don't need this. You don't
all
need the inboard
extra.
stuff.
Yeah.
And save them a couple $100. And they're like, oh, that's cool, thanks. Because we don't really advertise a lot of the outboard stuff and the panhard stuff. Like,
So then the third level?
third level's the back half. So that's like, right behind the cab, chop it off and plug this whole new
So
full frame rails.
Full long bed to short bed conversion.
Yeah, or we do a long bed version too. Oh, I guess that's something else that we don't really tell people. We have a long bed specific back half. Like if somebody's like, I want to keep my truck a long bed, we have a back half for you where it doesn't shorten it.
People do that?
They do that.
There's people that have done that.
They're out there.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with you guys.
Okay, so you have a full long bed that you can get. You have a long bed, a short long to
bed.
short. That's the high dollar back half. Or how much is that?
And those are $3,200 too.
Okay.
So basically $32.
So 32, I would say on the front is
Pretty standard.
I would say it's quite possibly the most.
What do you mean? Most expensive front end?
Just from doing the
Oh,
pod,
okay. Yeah.
I would say that's a few hundred more
But it's
wide.
all inclusive.
It's
Everything.
all
Like,
inclusive.
I'm not gonna say, hey, yo, $3,200.
Yeah.
Oh, here's an extra $200 for bags. You want a rack and pinion? Here's an extra $200-$300. Here's your tie rod bump steer kit. You know, you pay that one price and everything shows up.
$3,200 ball sack to ball sack.
Ball sack to ball. And I think that we never wanted.
I didn't say ball sack, did I?
We never wanted to piecemeal it together because we want to make sure that the customer gets everything that they need to do the install.
Because I've been kind of duped before. Like, oh, I'm getting this. I remember buying a rear like trailing arm kit for a Baja Bug. I was on a little thing. I bought to try to do some long travel shit. And I was like, okay, this is everything I need, and it shows up. And it was a ton of money for me back then. But then I had to buy this, and I had to buy this, and I had to buy this, and I had to buy that, and it just pissed me off. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I thought I was getting it done, and I had all my parts.
It does nickel dime where it can.
Yeah, and so I mean, when you buy our front kit, for example, like you can basically unbolt all your stuff, and I mean, you can bolt this in, and
we
you
had
can
a guy
pretty much put your stuff back together, and it can be assembled without having to really like you said, buy anything else. Oh, we didn't.
And what control arms are you getting with that?
the tubular.
The tubular.
Yeah.
All right.
So we do offer like an upgrade box version, like the fabricated plate ones for the kits, but we've only done a couple of those. The full chassis all come with the box control arms.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you real quick. There's a dude that messaged us that said he never even changed oil in his truck, and he installed the front end. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like that's kind of a testament to how simple it is.
That's one of the questions from a skill perspective.
Okay.
1 to 10, 1 being changing your battery,
Yeah.
10 being Delmo, or just some full fab guy. Where do you
It's
put
definitely on the lower end of that scale, man. Like, I mean, I know that guy, for example, was probably kind of the exception to the rule. Like,
Yeah.
somehow he's some kind of
But
freak.
under 5.
But yeah, under 5 for
Yeah,
sure.
I
Because
mean,
there's no
for sure.
welding,
It's-
right? There's
yeah,
no
yeah,
welding
like,
on the
It's
front.
bolt in. It's like if you are skilled enough to take the original shit out, the other one will pop right in. It goes in the same holes, all that kind of stuff. Like,
Which
there's no,
really, for the audience, if you take the front out, that's harder than putting
Yeah,
the new
It
back
really
in.
is, especially
Yeah.
with all the rusted bolts
I mean,
and all that type
you're gonna
of
want
crap.
to clean it up and grind all the grime and shit off of that.
I mean,
Maybe-
we've had guys, one of our dealers that's in California, Jason Paying, I mean, he'll take trucks and he won't even pull the motor all the way out and just lift it up, hold it up in the air, and install the front kit. I mean, is that ideal? No, but I mean, you can do it, and it's not...
Well, and that's the hard
pull
part
everything.
for the audience to me is the fun of that part.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, oh, buy a full chassis. Like, if you're listening to this and you can, buy a full chassis. That's my...
it's still a shitload of work.
That's my
Oh, yeah, when you
my
take a
sell
truck-
to you.
Like, anybody that's
Yeah.
taken a vehicle completely apart, like, you have, like, a cab that's sitting there, and you've taken it completely apart. Like, every nut, every bolt, every screw, I mean, that's a shitload of work to put stuff... to build that and put it all back together.
But the
Even on a
journey,
full chassis.
but the journey of doing the kit
Yeah.
is a fun time. So
Oh,
if
it
you
is. I mean, it's-
like with Payson, I mean, we're not going to do a full kit. We're going to actually just do CPP 4.6 on his little 66 out
Same
there.
shit though. I mean, you're taking stuff off, you're holding your stuff on, and you're having a blast.
he just doesn't have the money to do anything
Well,
else.
his dad does.
And I
His dad
mean,
does not.
and I mean,
You just saw where all
I
my
ain't
money
telling.
is.
I'm not telling the world what we just saw.
you just not there. Not
Oh,
back-
where are we?
Yeah,
I
no.
get my.
You see where
Yeah.
the money's in there. That's why that stuff's all sitting out there.
That's retirement.
Yeah.
but
That's,
the,
that
like you
money's-
said, it's the journey of doing it. Like I spent,
No, it's like
time
the
with
water
my-
jet.
with my son, like
We don't talk about the water jet.
No, it's like the water jet. It's the experience of what we're gonna do on my son's 66. Is we're gonna first of all, it's all stock. It's a 100% stock truck that's been through family member and grandpa, and it has drum brakes. I mean, give me a break. That's why he doesn't drive it. He's driving my OBS because I'm like, we're not letting. His mom will not let him drive it. She drove that truck when I met her, and so that truck's gonna get updated. And I'm sure 2 years later down the road when he gets the money and whatever, he can do whatever he wants. But at this point, we're gonna have fun as part of that journey. So,
well, and I think that's cool for kids to experience that. You know what I mean? Getting under the truck. I did that with my son over the weekend. Here, help me get under the truck and let's break these bolts loose. You know what I mean? Like kids are so accustomed to like new vehicles and you just get it and it runs. We were talking to a customer and a friend who was telling us the same thing. His son drives a Blazer and he went to school in the Blazer and was like, "Hey, Dad, my truck won't start." And he's like, "The battery's dead or whatever." And he didn't realize that the lights don't automatically turn on and off. Like you have to push a button to turn the lights off. Like how ridiculous is that our kids are so accustomed to the fact that you have to like, you don't have to turn the lights on.
Anthony, the best example is, think about the rotary phone that you had when you were a kid. Can you imagine a kid now waiting for that thing to
I think
dial?
there's a YouTube video of somebody like trying to watch a kid use it.
They can't even do that, right? We're moving so fast. The technology, I mean, it's crazy. So in 5 years from now, I mean, it's absolutely crazy. So we're almost at an hour. I know you guys have other stuff. I'm good to stay all night. I just want to make sure I'm buzzing through some of these. So one of the next questions I have is, why should the C10 Nation choose GSI? Why should they've got multitude of options? Why should they choose GSI?
And yeah, I mean, that's true. They do. There's a ton of people out there making good stuff. I don't know, like, I talk to a lot of people every day, man. That's kind of my thing. And I think customer service is huge. You know, like I said, I'm always around. Like, I'm talking to people all night long. You know what I mean? Like, it drives my wife crazy, but, you know, I'll be laying in bed and I'll be talking to people, and she's like, "Who's that? What are you talking? What are you talking about? Trucks." I'm like, yeah, because these guys have jobs. You know, they're at work all day.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so when it's their time, they want to ask questions. So customer service is huge. We try to do that. If that's of any merit. You call product wise. I mean, you're getting top of the line stuff for sure. Like, our processes are legit. Our materials are legit. We got some of the best fab and welders in the game. I mean, you guys see it. You know what I mean? Those guys are phenomenal. And,
I'm new to it, and
I
hear people ask if it's machine welded. And at the beginning, when I first started, I was like, I don't know, is it? And it's not.
Yeah, and just having some of the cool billet parts that we make in house kind of set it off too. But bottom line, if you're out there shopping around, it's not always about who's the cheapest or who was the
whatever, anything.
The first guy, and I don't mean that probably how you're thinking it, but you know what I mean, like the first person to bring out a bagged C10 or whatever. Like, we got your back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Well, I just think that maybe because the mic's here and I'm asking it, but when I see it shows, I feel like if a guy comes up to you at a show and says, I mean, hey man, I'm looking at your chassis. I mean, your chassis is gorgeous. I mean, I've said that to many people. It's an awesome looking piece. How do you sell them? If I say, hey, I can go over here, right, to another guy, there's 10 other companies. Scott, why should I buy this chassis from you?
Honestly, if you're kind of already there, you're there. Like, you just need me to kind of.
But that's what I'm saying.
Kind of close the door, you know what I'm saying? Like, or open.
What's your speech? What do you tell them?
I don't really have a speech, dude, because it's already. It's like somebody explained to me one time. There's like a void, right, in somebody's life. Like, not a life, like a big deal, but you have something they want, and that's why they're there. So they've done a lot of the homework. Yeah, they've looked at everybody. They tell me that, you know, we have that conversation, and my usual response, man, is I don't know a whole lot about every other manufacturer.
Okay.
I know some of the guys who have been doing it. I've seen their stuff. I've never driven on any of it. I've never installed any. I've never touched it. So I can kind of say I don't know a whole lot about what they're doing, but I can tell you what we do. I mean, I believe we have, of course I'm going to say it, the best geometry out there. Like, we have some serious smart dude who put this stuff together. You know, the engineers at the shop, they took kind of the aerospace and that sort of thing that we were doing before and put it in the truck world, which I don't think happens to everybody else. Like, there's a lot of, okay, I have a spindle out here and my frame's right here, let's connect the dots and make it cool like an A-arm, and boom, we're rolling. That's not the case. That's actually dangerous. You know what I mean? So we've kind of perfected the suspension geometry, if you ask me. I have total confidence in the design, and I know it's going to last forever. And if there is ever an issue, we got your back.
So do you have any companies that you look at, you know, when you think about other suspension companies that you are honored to be in the same, you know, mention of, or that you look at and you're like, damn, they have a
nice chassis. Like I said in the beginning, like, I mean, when I was a little kid, I would go to work with my dad and look at the catalogs that he had there. And I mean, you had Art Morrison was like pretty much the only chassis manufacturer at the time.
But they don't really build C10 stuff, do they?
No. I mean,
I'm just saying, like, in a sense, like, I can appreciate almost what everybody's doing. I feel like everybody right now is making killer cool stuff, and you know, I mean, Roadster Shop is obviously killing it with the same thing, like kind of what we're doing, manufacturing. You know what I mean? But I think everybody is putting out
I mean,
really
I'm
cool
not
stuff.
I'm not afraid to say, like, even Porterville, like, you gotta give it up. I mean, they did kind of bring it to the masses, and sort of everybody kind of ran with it, you know? So you can't really discredit that by any means, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I mean, Nate's stuff is awesome.
yeah,
For sure.
and, I mean, from what I know, I mean, there was, like, Fat Man, you know, you remember Fat Man?
Oh, yeah.
All the Mustang 2 shit heights and all that kind of stuff, but none of it was really cool. Like, I think he made it cool. Right?
It's crazy how many companies, even when you bring up like Heights, Fat Man, Art Morrison, and then
Well, and yeah, I mean,
hell, we have 9 just here. You know,
Yeah.
what I
well,
mean?
and that's
I'm
the
going
whole
through,
thing. I mean, and a lot of those guys, what they did, like a lot of that stuff, like Mustang 2 stuff, is perfect for coilovers.
yeah,
But
When you want to start cycling decent
but you want to
numbers.
cycling, yeah. And I mean, we took the approach that was totally different than other people. Like our control arms, our stuff
specific to our
won't
stuff.
fit on a stock frame. So we get that question about that type of stuff all the time. And our our control arms don't fit on a stock frame because we designed the geometry from scratch around the spindle.
Basically, the only thing we don't control is the spindle because we use a CPP spindle. So we kind of had to live with what they already made, which is great. And then we just built everything in between. You know what
well, and really, I mean, that's a proven product. I mean, everybody, that one thing is, I've often said that thing could keep the lights on for CPP.
Yeah.
As many C10s are out there, and how many CPP modular spindles.
I mean, they're literally the best spindle. that you can-
when we started, we bought 3 or 4 different spindles from people. We checked them all out. Like there was some stuff we were having to put on a machine and remachine another company's spindle to make it like even fit the ball joint that is recommended
Well,
for
and
that
I think
spindle.
at first, or still even to this day, you can still run a stock spindle, like you said.
Yeah.
You know, but I think I don't think that's at all a
No,
selling
I mean,
point. For
no, it's
somebody.
not. It's just,
I
but
mean-
there is a guy who's
but
like, well, I already have my disc brake spindle and my 15-inch wheels. Can I just plug this thing in? Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Go for it, dude. But then you get the guys who, big brakes are everywhere and all that kind of stuff. I mean,
And I mean, that's really the only next evolution, I mean, that we don't control that's without, I mean, we're not working on that in the process right now, but I mean,
making a spindle.
making a spindle. Because then we're able to perfect our geometry even better than where we are. You know, you can get more turning radius, you can do a lot of things when you control that aspect. And so, kind of going back to what we were saying, like all those guys that were doing stuff in the past, I mean, Heights Hot Rod, I have a Heights Hot Rod kit on my Nova that we built a full frame for. I mean, we built that and I bought the suspension from them for that. I made a 4-link and all that type of stuff. But it just doesn't lend itself as well, in my opinion, to the airbag world. And so it's... I don't even know where I was going with that, but I mean, it's just the evolution that you have of this stuff is just...
Yeah, I mean, and to get back to like who you kind of think about and who you look at.
I think they've paved the way for everybody, pretty
sure.
much, you know what I mean? Because...
Well, isn't it crazy too? One of the things that I've kind of taken from this is you think like, you know, it's, to me, all the companies are busy. And it's crazy that there's that much meat on the bone. And it's such a good thing for everybody from that perspective. I just really want to educate the C10 world, the C10 nation.
Yeah.
You guys do your research, know what's out there, know that's proven, and know, you know, where you're spending your
And
money.
we've made the mistakes. Like if it doesn't work in the computer, you know what I mean? That's not necessarily it's not going to work in real life either. But we've had to do it, build it. It didn't work. Get rid of it, scrap it, start over, back and forth, stuff like that. But
I want to blow through a few of these.
I kind of want to touch on that.
Okay, go back.
Just you know, I
You
want
can
to
steer the ship, bro.
Give credit where credit's due, man. I don't want to overlook that and try to breeze past it. Like
I'm here all night.
Keep
Keep talking. I'm gonna go get a water.
Well, I'm talking to you, right?
I know, but just look like
okay.
that. I'll put my face in there.
Um,
I'm gonna get you a water too, because I
Yeah.
got fancy water.
yeah, fancy water. Yeah, like I
Alright,
said,
I'll take
man,
one too.
you got to give it up to Nate. You can't get past that. I'm impressed by Roadster Shop because they got some crazy stuff going on. Man. Like some of their high end stuff is ridiculous, and they got that Magic Mike over there. Just
Yeah, Magic Mike's, dude. Everybody loves that guy.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
well, shit.
We're handing out fancy waters and barley pops.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, roaster shop, of course. Some of that. Well, I mean, like the fast track stuff. It's amazing. That stuff is super cool. And then there's a lot of up and comers. There's like some other guys who are doing it. Like.
You got some up and comers. I tried to reach out to a few guys. Try to keep the balance. Rideman Ranch was.
Yeah, Spencer. We talk on Instagram once in a while. Like, dude's killing it. Like,
Yeah,
and he's super polite, dude.
Scott won't call me
Oh,
back.
bullshit.
He's like, dude. He goes.
Alright, I'm never liking another one of your pictures, Spencer. No, he's rad, man, and he's doing some cool stuff, and you know, I like Eric over at Little Shop.
Yeah. I didn't reach out to Eric.
But he's not like doing the. I mean, he's doing it, but he's like, he's not doing like
some
C10
of the stuff
specific.
he's done
like,
is pretty cool. Like
the
with
dually,
dualies
the dually
and
just
stuff
blew
You
my
know what I
mind.
mean?
That's what I was like. I mean, I've always known Little Shop of Horrors. I was like, these mini trucker dudes are building sick shit, and then that dually came and just blew my mind.
Yeah.
And then I started really talking. Like I talked to him. Like him and I, we conversate really, and
Well, yeah, and even when you're
he's
buying
a smart
some
dude.
of this, when you're buying some of this
whatever
stuff,
you
like
want.
I mean, it's not even just about buying sometimes, right? It's the experience that you have with a company or like personalities, you know what I mean? Like there's so much involved in just anything. And not only that,
Don't be
like
a dick.
Dude, if you want to have a barley pop, you can.
I
Help
don't
yourself.
think there would be one company that can
that's
handle
not what I
all
was
the business, you know what I mean? It'd be hard, like to have one company handle everything.
Well, yeah, you got half the C10 population in your backyard.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Every one of those trucks is a chassis one day.
Dude,
so,
some of these guys have so many trucks, it's crazy. When you I talk to some guys, we're in our own bubble. Some of these guys hoard them all. You know what I mean? There's 20, 30
my
trucks.
gosh.
You know, some of these guys. I mean, look at Big Fish, dude.
That dude
guy's
has
got
some
like
pictures of
80 freaking square bodies.
You
know
talked
what
to
I
him
mean?
yet?
Jeez. Yeah. Oh no. So the reason why I haven't had Big Fish on is
There's not enough time in the world.
No, I've had him like when he comes out. He's been here. We went out to Scottsdale, had a blast. I absolutely love the guy.
You don't want to talk about what you guys did though?
I'm full on, dude. I sleep with 8 other men, dude. There's nothing that you can ask me that I'm not going to talk about. So for 48 hours.
No, I had a night out with Big Fish once.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
And I won't talk about it.
Yeah. He likes the places where people take the clothes off. But the best part about Big Fish is he says I'm a degenerate. You know, he admits to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's probably why he's so likable. But the number one reason that I need to do with Big Fish is I don't want to have Big Fish on as an interview. I want to go and video him, his shop, and they're working on it right now. He's gonna, and he's got some minions, you know, or whatever you want to call them, the hyenas, right? So he's got some dudes that are really, really good dudes. Channing is one of the guys, and so I want to video that, so it'll be like a video tour.
Yeah.
That's actually, honestly, if I could do one thing with the podcast, 100% would be. I probably have over 20 guys that I would want to go video. Dude, honestly, I mean, I've been to your place. It would be a fun video tour that I thought I need to take this on the road and video tour it.
Make it happen.
I need to get a video guy. I need to get a video. So when I did errands, that was very successful. I want to make sure I'm still recording. I need another video guy. Who
was your video guy then?
His name's Brandon. He lives out there.
Oh.
But
Well, Goose.
yeah, Goose doesn't want to go and travel as much. We're on different shifts as well. So I need a true video guy. Goose is a great picture guy, but I need a true video guy and a sound guy. But go back to full chassis. So you guys did a good job. I mean, that was probably the worst time to take a pee beer break, but because we were trying to give love to you were, you know, I was asking you.
Yeah, I give love. That's what I do.
I think
you need some love.
Well, I think it was in there. It was. I just want to make
there?
sure that. Yeah. We kind of broke up a little bit, but so there's a lot of companies that have paved the way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
you gotta always acknowledge that. I mean, straight up. Now, we're kind of doing our own thing. Like we're kind of running with it. You know what I mean? But
and people, you're going to hear
where-
it too. There's a few companies that definitely notice that and they mention it. So when I asked you about companies that you look at, there's people that said you guys, and I think the key
That's
is
really cool.
The key is that you guys have that works for you, and it works for me when we go to shows. And when you go to a show and you shake hands with somebody, that's a big deal.
That's a huge
Dude,
We
you're
got
looking
people
a guy
that
in
we
the
got people
face.
that like bring us presents and like gifts. They're expecting to see us. What's that?
Take us pig hunting.
Yeah.
Shout out.
You gonna go to Texas?
Yeah.
Nice.
We had a customer come
Southern
take us
Night
pig
Stalkers.
hunting. I told you about that?
No, but tell Joey, dude, he sucks, dude. Be like, Joey, I went pig hunting with this guy.
Well, I told Joey, and he goes, "Next time I'm bringing a helicopter." So, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm surprised that shit didn't land in the parking lot, dude.
Yeah.
Hold on, they're hovering right now. You can't see them. We'll bring them in. That's a bitchin' blade right there.
Yeah.
Classic.
I mean, definitely that's like the relationships you build with people is...
Oh, I've met some great people.
By
man.
far,
I got some
like,
good friends
more
out of this
than
game. And
anything.
So
you can-
I would say some business advice that I could give you
Yeah.
guys, Anthony, is you need to give Scott a bonus.
no, I mean, hell yeah, but
Are you salary or
I'm
hourly?
good. I'm good, dude.
You're good?
Like, no, they take care of me. It's
right.
a great place to work, dude.
Because I will say that the majority of the comments that I hear are always usually that Scott's the face of it. You know, like you're.
Well, that just kind of happened. You know
Well,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
like you said, you're answering phone calls. You know, the bean is like, "Hey, baby, what's up? You want to work on that third boy?" And you're like, "Hold on, babe. All right, so the camber, if we adjust that, you're
That
like,
will never happen.
She's like,
That will never happen.
Dude, I got my
I'll
best.
work on that third boy
I
all
got my
day
best
long.
lingerie on. I'm ready to go. And you're like, hold on, babe. I gotta take this call. Joey G's on it. It's a bitching line.
Oh yeah, I'll hang on. Oh yeah, I'll hang on.
Hold the call. Hold the call, Joey.
That's actually happened. She'd be like, all you do is talk to Joey. You know, I heard that before.
Yeah. He's the man. I don't think we did hit it, but how much is a full chassis?
They start at 13.5.
Okay.
Now that's what I tell people: spindle to spindle, bumper to bumper.
Joey G chassis.
Bro. Racks. Like, he got a backpack. No, okay. So Joey's was pretty loaded, dude. Joey did, like, big wheel woods. He did...
Which truck?
Tex. So he did front and rear sway bars. He did the CVT.
What size sway bars?
They're like a NASCAR style sway bar. So it's not like a muscle bar or like a piece of DOM that's fucking folded up and welded. It's what? It's a spline sway bar. You know?
You can cuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's fine.
Look, he's like, he opened a beer and now he's
No,
living
like with our sway bars and stuff like that. I mean, it's the way that we wanted to do it was.
It's a high end sway
It's a
bar.
high-end
It's like
sway bar.
race
It's,
car
yeah, I mean,
kind of
it's
style.
a race car style.
Can you make one for our 73 crew cab?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
We just
check the
installed-
Instagram story. It's the first one's out right now.
All right.
It's on my truck.
Is that the... Okay. Yeah, I need one.
So it's
Because that's a problem with that truck.
And the thing is, that's cool about those is so like for example, we stock a specific size, but they're tunable because you can go into different wall thicknesses and stuff like that. And so the arms that we created are machined arms. We get them splined and broached and everything like that. And then
I'll let the new owner deal with it, but it does.
yeah,
need some-
I mean it's
it needs
sold?
some- No, but it will be. I'll let them deal with it.
Yeah, so like he was getting on, it's a high end sway bar. Like,
So-
and you can pop the bar out. Like, say, hey, I want a stiffer. Pop it out and slide like a 3/16 wall in there. Oh, I still want a stiffer. Pop it in 1/4 wall. More. Then you get solid bar. Solid bar sway bar
it's
would
pretty
just be
much
nuts.
yeah. It's
I mean,
nothing.
you're like
It's not really a sway bar at that point. It's
That
just
might be what I need.
you need two. You need a 3-inch diameter solid bar. Yeah. We'll make you a one
That
off.
truck needs it, but it'll get fixed once it needs some front end stuff. But so full chassis
full
GSI
I mean, 'cause
13.5.
Yeah, but almost every chassis we sell, right? I mean, 13.5 is your baseline. It's modular spindles, it's bags, it's Ride-Tech HQ series shocks all the way around, like standard equipment.
rear axle housing.
Yeah, rear Curry housing, 9-inch housing. You tell me the wheels you're running, and I get it spec.
So those HDs, those are the Fox adjustables,
HQs,
right?
yeah.
HQs.
So
okay.
that's standard. That's not an upgrade. That's not
Yeah.
a this or that. That's what it is. The
No third member.
no third member
Yeah.
or axles, just a housing.
Okay.
That way we do all the welding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That way we don't.
Yeah, and they can say whatever gear ratio they
Exactly.
want,
Yep,
whatever
exactly.
motor,
Yeah, and
axle
that-
shaft.
And almost
because-
every one goes the extra. You know, they'll be like, yeah, load it up. That way you can buy brakes. That way you can bolt my wheels to it. I have wheels shipped from all over the place.
And what brakes do you guys
We do
carry?
a lot of Woodwood.
Okay.
We do CPP and Woodwood. CPP actually created like our own part number for us, which was rad.
Big
so
brakes, or are
they're
you?
big brakes.
Are you okay?
They're big brakes. They're the CPP
14s?
big brakes. No, not they're the 13s.
13s.
They're not the big
Okay.
the newer ones. But that's kind of your.
So that's
your
more of
guy
a
who's-
budget, right?
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
more
if
of a
you
budget.
they
It's
still
still
cost
really
they still
nice.
cost some money.
Yeah.
It's a nice brake
Yeah,
kit.
but the
It's-
Willwood's going to be the
yeah,
higher
the
end.
Willwood's
Yeah.
going to be the higher
and
end,
the
and then
CPP
we
is going
have
to be the budget.
Yeah.
yeah, and we have not yet really had too many people that are going bare, but we can.
Yeah,
do
I mean,
that
the bears
type
are
of
big money,
you know,
so
they're
guys
really-
want to ball out and they want to get bears. So most guys, like, I rarely get a guy to buy the 13.5 chassis. They're all loading it up with extra stuff. I mean, almost everyone has a CVT, and then
So what would you say on average then? So you're saying they're coming with the air, they're coming with everything.
they're pushing. I mean, average. You know, they're pushing that 18 to 20 range.
So what about the front end stuff? What do you anything to go from a 13.5? What's the upgrades? The brakes,
Sway bar,
sway
sway bar,
bar.
front and rear sway bars.
Control arms, you're going to get more of the...
If you want to do some billet stuff, we could probably work that out eventually, but right now we're not really offering the
set of
billet
handles
stuff.
comes with that?
It depends how much we talk and how sweet you are to me on the phone, you know. I've been known to hook some people up from time to time.
That's the bonus, that's the tax.
But you can't be hitting me with this
sale.
4-door crap. Like, you want 4 door handles, bro?
Not
Like,
me.
come on.
I'm good, man. I'm
yeah,
good.
so you kook out guys. Like,
I'm
we could do maybe two at a time. But
that is true. I never thought about that. It's like, dude, yeah, no problem. Oh shit, there's 4 of you.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, we got like a lot of cool billet stuff that people add to it. You know, the steering wheels. You know, the syndicate stuff that we did. But God, I rarely get someone to buy that base chassis, and then. Dude, we didn't even take them to powder coat. Dude, we get them powder coated. We get them plumbed, wired.
Well, and
I
at
mean,
the end of the
they're
day,
functioning chassis.
You need all that stuff anyways. You're going to need that stuff. And so the more information that we have from people, the better that we can help the customer. You know, like you're saying, like brakes and all that type of stuff. We already have it all figured out with the brakes, so that way it's not like you're going to get the wrong kit for a brake kit. You're going to get the right kit, and it's going to fit.
Headers. LS mounts,
headers?
mounts. Ultimate Headers actually made a kind of it's a specific header for.
Can you
for
get
chassis.
a motor too? Can you say I want this and you
The
guys
only way we'll do a motor is if you're gonna buy a brand new one.
Mm-hmm.
I will not do a we'll do a turnkey motor. Colby over at Turnkey Engine Supply, super cool. He's hooked us up. Got a guy right now dumping a twin turbo Don Hardy in a 57 Chevy chassis. But we won't do the junkyard thing just because that's too much
What
liability.
about a 12-valve Cummins on a square body?
I don't know what you're talking about.
12.
That was all Nick's, dude. That was Nick's little mastermind down there, dude.
It's probably one of my favorite trucks.
Oh, dude, I've had people who come and say, I'm buying a chassis just because I saw that truck.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite trucks.
I can't wait to see it rip.
I could look at Nick's truck the way it is, like right now, like all day long.
Well, and he just keeps doing stuff. Like,
Yeah.
he keeps tweaking on it and tweaking on it.
Yeah, leave it alone. It gets to a point where
it's getting
like,
a bed. It's got to get a bed.
Oh.
I've been pushing. Like, he drew like this
I think I got a sticker somewhere.
flatbed.
Stickers on.
If you've been to the shop, that's his thing. He sneaks out and he tags you up, and it's always to do it. So
I've got
there's
a
a
few
sticker
of those.
somewhere on your trailer, your truck, or whatever.
Again, we have to kind of, if you haven't seen it, he's got like a 77. It's not a 77 because it's not yellow stripe, but 78.
Maybe.
Yeah, single cab, dually, square body, obviously with a 12-valve Cummins, GSI. He's just big old freaking billets and hoops.
They're 24s.
It's such a cool, it's one of those deals where when we talk about how the chassis can be a thing of art and a thing of beauty, but what Nick's done is put that power plant with the cab, and it even adds to it because then you see somewhat of what it's morphing into the truck that we know it's going to be.
Yeah, just the tube work that he did for the turbos and all that type of stuff. And then it's got
the exhaust system and
it's got billet valve covers on that we made. I mean, it's
a killer truck.
It's one of those.
Does he have a name for that thing?
I think he calls it like Garth or Deuce. Maybe it's not like official. You need to make it official. He'll do it if you tell him to.
Garth would be great.
Well, like Garth
He's kind of a
Brooks.
country dude. He's a country dude. He's kind of a little
cool.
like.
I'm down with that.
Should we do a
He-
contest?
He did
No
I don't know.
Fences? What's he thinking here?
Maybe. Yeah. I mean,
You don't know that album?
of course I do.
Come
dude.
on,
I ain't
dude.
a country guy, but I know that. We almost went to Garth Brooks' concert that night.
I was trying to go. My
I
wife
don't know.
turned
That
out.
dude hit me up, said, "Hey, I got 2 extra
A dude
tickets."
did?
Yeah. A dude hit me up, said, "I got 2 extra tickets to Garth Brooks. You want them?" I didn't answer the message fast enough. He's like, "I just gave them away."
Yeah, that sucks.
So I would have gone. I would have gone in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, my wife
I'd-
told me
yeah.
that she had a friend that was like, "Hey, do you guys want to go to Garth Brooks?" I'm like, "Yeah," and she's like, "Well, I already told her no." I'm like,
Yeah, I don't do country, but I would have gone to that concert in a
Oh,
heartbeat.
yeah.
I mean, he's a legend.
I've seen him in
the dude's
concert.
a legend, dude.
But that's
I mean,
back in
like,
the day.
Yeah, and I mean, I think his show is like
Yeah, he does.
Oh, yeah.
phenomenal. Like,
Yeah. Well, he's a performer.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
Back in the day, it was America West, and he was swinging from ropes, and yeah, it was
Oh,
pretty
you'll catch Garth doing that now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I ain't gonna do that shit either. It's like, oh man. But okay, so full chassis cost. Any OBS stuff coming out? That's one of the.
Yeah, man. You know.
We're not CK Talk yet, but
I know
we
you're
gotta-
gonna have to do it.
we
well, I
need
mean,
to-
yeah, like,
oh yeah,
really,
yeah,
like,
we'll involve.
yeah,
Somebody,
we got-
somebody else will be like, dude, I'm starting a podcast on.
Yeah, you better record it now.
OBS.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I have an
Talk.
OBS. I bought an OBS, so
Cool.
what is that? I don't know.
Yes.
What does
yes,
that tell you?
I mean,
All right.
yes. And not trying to we
I had
don't
an
do the whole
OBS back
secret
in the
thing,
day.
but
So tell me this. I feel like what I think I explained this off air to one of the guys today, and I explained this to somebody, a different guy, just on a phone call. I feel like the trend was 67 to 72. So I'm going to come into the mic so the audience can really hear me. I feel like the
you
trend
should
was
see him right now, guys.
I feel like Well, you can.
I mean,
Well, let's do like a...
Oh, ran out of battery. Okay, 67 72s, and that was the Forum, right? That's the hottest truck ever made to man, right? Yeah. So then, social media comes along, and we evolve to the square. Okay. I feel like when I was in high school, the second most popular truck was what I would call a slope nose square body. Okay?
The early squares.
81 to 87. Ooh. So a square headlight.
Shout out Huckleberry.
Shout out. So this is why I want to ask you this. So then I feel like the squares, because if you think about it back then, if you had a square, 73 to 80, those guys were taking those front clips. They were selling them. They were getting rid of them. They were storing them, and they were trying to get what I call a slope nose front clip. So I believe that style of truck was probably my true second favorite style, besides the 67 72. And
The slope nose square?
Yes, and I absolutely love a short bed four-wheel drive. But what I think's happened is I feel like we are going to skip a slope nose square because I feel like a square is very popular, 73 to 80, right now. I feel like the OBS is getting a lot of traction, and people are like, we gotta buy an OBS because they're gonna get popular. They're gonna be the next square bodies or whatever. And it's like, well, hold on. Did the 81 to 87s even get the love?
I don't think the squares hit as hard as everybody thought they would. Like, I remember when we first started doing stuff, we started, 63, 72. And we're like, oh, square bodies are coming, we gotta do square body stuff. So, Huckleberry was the first square body kit that we ever made. The first front square body and the first rear for a square body truck. They didn't hit as hard as I thought they would. I think, 63 to 72 is still hanging out.
So when you look at
OBSs are different.
When you look at your numbers, what kind of numbers do you look at?
63, 72.
Still.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, big time.
And then I just
But not necessarily, I mean, I guess,
like,
because our
chassis.
But our full chassis is definitely 55, 59 if you want to, I mean, I know this isn't.
Well, that's because Joey G's freaking buying like
3100 talk, but dude, I mean.
But we have so many of those.
The majority of full chassis we sell are the 55 to 59.
And they're a cool truck.
Yeah, they are a cool truck.
Dude, yeah.
They're a gorgeous truck.
They got me on a hunt, like.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you know who's got you on the hunt? It's freaking Rick, dude.
Oh, that guy, has
dude,
so many.
on.
I don't even know where he...
Yeah. I mean, you look at what... I look at some of the stuff Rick has, and then I look at Tex, and then I look at even all the way to what Stoner does, and I look at his advanced design stuff. I mean, there's no way. I mean, they're rad trucks.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that orange one that Dell finished. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So that's on a full GSI chassis.
So that was the truck that was at SEMA 2-3 years ago. He redid.
Yeah, so
he brought it back.
A guy named Vern from Nova Scotia picked it up.
Yeah.
Bought it from SoCal.
Yeah, SoCal got it. It wasn't all right.
Whatever. That's neither here nor there. But Dell revamped it kind of.
Yeah.
And left it in our hands for a little bit to take to the Good Guys show. And Vern's actually coming down tomorrow. And dude, I put a few miles on that truck. I love it.
Like, yeah, what about
I love it.
Old Gold or whatever? I mean, that truck is...
But I never sat in it. I got to drive it. That's the difference. Like, I didn't really care about it until I drove it. Now I'm like, I got to have one of these trucks.
Kind of a timeless truck.
I felt just such a badass, dude, driving down the freaking 101, like in this truck, just skating, like fishbowl, like everyone look. I was like, I got to have one of these trucks.
What's cool about those trucks is the way that truck goes around the frame and drops down.
So if you were to see one of our 55.9 chassis, the cross member is low, the chassis is high, the body is a good 4 or 5 inches lower.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So when it airs out, it's not laying frame.
No, you can't lay frame on that.
No,
truck.
you can't. It would look ridiculous.
I don't think you can. Right,
because
the steps come so far down.
You have a body mount that was
ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean that kind of adds to it, right? That those trucks were already wrapped around the frame and dropped down anyways.
Yeah.
And then when you got the C10 series, everything was changed, and obviously they went to.
And that's the whole thing too. I mean, like that is a 100% different frame than our C10 stuff. I mean, our C10 stuff does not fit on that. It's not adapted to...
Geometry's totally different. The
so,
chassis
I just wonder what's going to happen with the OBS. I feel I just feel like we've kind of skipped where the squares are more popular than ever. And I think the second gen stuff, what I would consider a slope nose, a square headlight, Huckleberry, I feel like it's funny. So what I think is going to happen is OBS is going to get popular. It's already happening. It's happening in Arizona. And then I almost wonder if we're going to go back to slope nose square body.
And my kind of thought on some of those trucks is, I mean, there's there's a lot of those trucks still running and driving. You know what I mean? So it kind of goes back to the whole dismantling a whole truck.
Yeah.
Like I have
That's a good point.
I have a square. I have two squares.
That's a great point.
Like I have two squares that a Blazer that runs and drives.
Yeah.
And I want to get it on the ground. I don't really know what I want to do with it, but then I have the
You're going to take your Blazer and put it on the ground?
I don't know. I really don't know. It kind of
we're gonna provost that bitch. We're gonna put it on some low coils and
every day is different. Like whatever we say, but then like the blue
I feel
square
like
body,
the 4-wheel drives are going to make a little bit of a comeback. But
we get a lot of like, hey, you do a 4-wheel drive.
yeah,
thing
I just think your Blazer. Obviously you've got your Bo James. Is it Bo James? What? No, not a Bo James. It's Spirit of 76, right?
Spirit of 76.
Put that one on the ground. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But you bring up a good point. The other thing is like C10s in the trailer park. Dude, there's more slope no square bodies there than in the known to man. Dude, if they registered, like if you could look at what their numbers are when you go to that show.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm like, I've never seen so many slope no square bodies, square headlight square bodies. There are a lot of freaking 81 to 87s running around in Texas. A lot.
Well, and that's
Texas
kind of
is big truck.
Yeah.
So that's another one of the questions. Where do you guys see a lot of your stuff being shipped out?
Dude, yeah, Texas boys, they're getting after it. They're the big dogs who are buying those 20K, 2660, the big chassis. They're going to Texas, Oklahoma.
Oil money.
I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah,
I don't care.
You don't ask.
That's not a question we talk about. Yeah.
You're like, the check cleared.
Yeah.
Get bounced.
Yeah, California, of course. Everybody's doing stuff. They'll always do stuff in California. We got some good old Arizona boys.
Yeah.
Texas, Oklahoma. We got stuff
everywhere.
In other countries.
in Kentucky.
Yeah,
Australia, Canada.
So when you look at it, you're looking at the regions, and then when you talk about the era, so you're saying the 55 to 59 stuff is predominantly full chassis.
Full chassis.
Are the kits? Are those 67, 72s, or are they...
Oh, kits are
73 to
63, yeah, to all that stuff, you know what I mean?
63 is because you don't really differentiate. So 63 to 72 kits for sure.
Do you guys do any 60 to 62 stuff, X-frame stuff?
The front ends have been adapted, but we don't have like a specific
back half.
Back half it, yeah. Cut that fucker off and back half it. You don't want any of that weird shit back there.
But
yeah,
Goose has that X-frame.
It's one of those weird trucks.
His is tight though. His is
no,
nice.
it's tight, but the amount of work, and he'll never admit it. And whether or not he listens to this or not, I'm like, dude,
you better listen.
The amount
That's
of
your boy.
the amount it is, but the amount of money, as much shit as I give him, all, dude. My brother has a 62. Let me tell you the first thing. First of all, don't ever buy a 62. Second of all, if you buy a 62. Fucking find a 63 frame.
Exactly, and that's the main thing.
You want to talk about saving money and time?
Because
unless you're going to do a full chassis, the amount of time and effort you have in dealing with that,
And that's a pop. And I've talked people into that too. Like, hey, I got a 61. Well, you got to go get yourself a frame, or I can find you a long bed. We'll back half it.
Yeah,
and there are a few companies that make a product for those trucks. But I think that, you know what I mean? Like, for us to develop that, it's just easier
to sell one or two,
To sell one or two and tell people, hey, you know what I mean? If you want this, buy a full frame or buy a kit and put it on a 63 and up chassis. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, we got a couple guys who have adapted the front ends to the earlier trucks. Actually, a dude in New Jersey just hit me up the other day about it. It's a badass truck. He's doing big smoking burnouts and loving every minute of it.
So how many chassis have you built? So if you let's say it like this, we talked about kind of going back to the beginning of the pod. 5 years ago, you guys started. How many chassis? Now I'm not going to say full chassis. So let's do it two-part. Full chassis, and then let's say on top of that, add
kits and stuff.
Kits.
Man, as far as
a kit counts as one.
I mean, kit stuff is a lot in the.
It's well over 150.
100. Which last year, it's a lot.
Yeah, I guess we could really look at the numbers. It's really tough to tell.
And then if you talk about chassis, like really, we released chassis.
SEMA 17. We took a 55, 59 chassis. That was our first chassis we took, I think. We kind of blew it out there. We put some Budniks on it. We clear powder coated it.
That was the year before early Fords?
That was the early Ford year.
That was early Ford year?
Yeah,
so that chassis was...
That was 17.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, 17. That chassis, dude followed us back to Phoenix, put that sucker in a U-Haul, and took it to Dubai.
We have
We sat down on the asphalt out back of the shop and had tea and did that whole thing. and we stuffed it in. They left the wheels. We still have the wheels, and they stuffed it in their U-Haul and disappeared.
And I was actually talking to those guys when I went to Dubai to try to go see what the truck scene is there, because I'm really interested in that, because those guys are doing a lot of stuff.
We got guys going to Kuwait and Dubai.
So you went to Dubai to check it out?
No, I went to Dubai on another work thing.
Oh yeah,
We won't talk about that, but
the other side.
The other side of the company, I went to Dubai for another work thing, and I was talking to some of our customers that are over there because I wanted to see the truck scene that they had going on. I wasn't there long enough.
What was it like?
Dubai?
Yeah, no, for truck scene.
I mean, what I've seen on social media, I didn't end up getting a chance to meet up with the guy, but the truck scene there is humongous.
They're doing their own like SEMA thing out there. Like, did you see those guys at SEMA? There was the, I don't know what they named it, but they were there promoting the Dubai
right by the
kind of
yeah.
version of SEMA that shit, I don't remember what it's called.
Dude, SEMA's mad. I mean,
I know, it's nuts, dude.
You can spend a month there and not see it.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
And it's so exhausting, but it's so. I feel like it's necessary. Like, dude, for what we're doing, like, I think I do talk to people who are like, oh, I want to buy something from a SEMA exhibiting company. Like, as kind of weird as that sounds, like, I think it makes a difference for some people.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but you gotta be a part of the industry. You gotta be a part of, you know what I mean, like everything that's going on.
I've met people at SEMA, like just random dudes who somehow got a path. They're not like industry. They're not, because you know, SEMA pretty much they regulate that pretty heavily, and they bought chassis. Like, they called later, say, I saw you at SEMA. I'm ready to place my order. They try to give me deposits. You can't, you know, there's not that.
Oh yeah, they don't like the sales. I mean,
you're not allowed to do that. I mean, it's straight up. And we're very like, no way, because I ain't trying to get kicked out of SEMA. We cut it close last year.
But isn't it kind of hypocritical? It's like you're there, but we don't want you marketing, but it's a marketing.
Well, it's one
I think marketing's a trade show event.
Selling. Like, a marketing and promoting is what it's all about. Yeah. I mean, it's a big business, dude. That on their end, you know what I'm saying? It's super expensive.
The exchanging of money is the thing that they don't.
Well,
really
that's
love,
why for the general public and the audience in C10 Nation, that's why it's not open really to the general public, because they don't want it to be a sales featured thing. It's a trade show thing where trade shows essentially are supposed to network.
You're trying to get your product out there and show some of the dealers that are in different states or in different countries your product, so that they can come and feel, touch, and
that's where we've met a lot of the international customers we have. We're at the SEMA show.
If you're going with Big Fish, you know you're gonna have fun.
Oh yeah,
I've never done Vegas with Big Fish, and I hope I never do.
He's there right now. He texts me. He's like, I'm going to Vegas.
I did Houston with Big Fish, and that was enough.
But kind of coming back to your question about how many chassis, like I mean, I mean, it's.
Do you think you've kept track? Like, to go back 5 years ago?
Yeah, I could.
5 years. Oh yeah, we have.
So full chassis, how many?
If I went to, I mean, right off the top of my head, I mean, should at least 50.
We've done 50, and I think
there's 20 more that are like that's. So we kind of have the step like. They live in the computer land until they get close to kind of production, you know, because we do have a lead time. I mean,
that's one of the questions. What's your lead time,
dude? On a full chassis, straight up, it's like 18 weeks. Like, and I can't. I mean, we're doing what we can to get that down, but dude, I mean, that's a lot of work. I mean, it's a lot of work to make it, and it's and you're getting, you know, we could speed it up and just crank these things out, you know, just weld like crazy, work like crazy, but you're gonna lose quality there.
So, do you think one of the questions is just because I've got you here? I think most people are saying like 6 to 8, maybe 10 weeks. You're saying that yours is absolutely the most, because I think you're probably being more honest. Would you say that it even can?
I'll tell you what.
I talk to 24 weeks.
I talk to people who are told 6 to 8 weeks, and like, dude, I'm at 20. I'm at 30. I'm about to go kill some people. You know what I mean?
I think we know that happens in the industry. That's probably one of the biggest things is what people are told and what people actually get.
Well, that's how you get yourself screwed up.
Yeah.
And so coming out the gate.
So are you really 18 right now?
Yes.
If I had a
yes, and you're probably going to beat 18. A full chassis?
Yeah.
Now, kits are less.
Yeah.
Full
so
chassis,
what's the lead time on a kit?
Well, right now, because what we try to do, we try to stay production minded when it comes to that stuff. So when it comes down to like, hey, we're running on cross members, we're gonna make 50 cross members, and we're gonna make 50 sets of control arms and stuff like that. So when that inventory's up, it's like 3-4 weeks to get something.
And then
out.
you have seasons
sometimes
too,
more.
So that really affects your lead time sometimes, because seasons. You know what I mean? People
spending money. People are not spending money during Christmas time.
Like Christmas time, so that really affects all that type of stuff.
But like if a dude buys a front kit, it's out quick. A guy
3 weeks?
No, I mean if we have to really push it out.
When you go,
I'll tell somebody 4 to 6, and we'll be closer to that 4 on just a front kit like right now.
Yeah.
And then but if they add a back half or a rear kit, those take more time. So
Do most guys want to kick it out early, or do they want it shipped together to save the money on the shipping?
Ship together. Yeah, they want to
So
ship
back half, how long?
Back halves are closer to like 10 weeks.
So
just because the rails.
So you're going to tell the guy 10 weeks because he wants to ship it all together.
Well, another thing that you have to take into mind is too, like you take into mind like ordering some of the stuff, because it's not that they're just ordering like a front or a back half, and so then they'll order brakes and they'll order these things. So all those things have lead times. You know what I mean? Curry. We talked to Curry, and I think this is the best lead time that they've ever had. They said, and
they've been doing good for us on lead times. Sometimes we were out, 4 weeks just on an axle.
4 weeks on an axle. So I mean, there's a lot of things that are involved.
How much to ship a kit, and how much to ship a full chassis?
Now, full chassis, dude, I don't care what anybody says. They're at least $1,000, $1,200. You're talking cross country. You're gonna be $1,500 to $1,700, like straight up. Yeah.
And it ranges across the country.
And we build a crate. We shrink wrap it. We palletize it. We band everything together, and it's a crate charge.
Commercial address.
It needs to be a commercial address because you have to be able to unload this thing. I mean,
it's huge.
It's huge.
It's 16 feet long.
It's a 16-foot long pallet, and it's 48 inches wide. You know what I mean? If it shows up at your house,
what are you gonna do?
The guy's not going to be able to unload it.
I don't care how many friends you got.
And the thing is, I mean, the guy, even if you have a
forklift pallet
lift gate, you know what I mean? Like, they're huge. So, I mean, yeah, commercial address, or they can send them to the
like the hub or whatever.
The hub.
They can pick it up on
and they can pick it up on a flatbed and that type of thing.
We delivered a lot of chassis to shows, too.
Yeah, so is that free delivery?
No. We charge a little bit for getting out there because it takes up real estate, bro. I mean, like, that we could have put a truck right there. We could have put another display chassis there or something. You know what I mean?
But don't you isn't it kind of work the way...
It does work. We use it for a display.
It's like, hey, if I can use it for the show, you can't pick it up at the beginning of the show. We're going to LST.
But it also kind of sucks when a guy wants the chassis with no wheels. Then we have like carts we have to build. So if you got a full rolling chassis, wheels, tires, brakes, etc., that's a lot easier to manage as far as transportation because you're rolling out of the trailer, you're parking it, you're airing it out, it looks cool. But if you have one like on a rack, it's ugly, for display purposes.
Then you have to ask your buddies to help you unload it, move it around.
Yeah, were you there for that, or did you have to go to the bathroom when we had to do that?
Was your memory as long as your wiener?
Oh, bro,
I see how it is.
Go way back, dude.
I see how it is.
Go way back.
I've helped you move that thing a few times, man. Actually, I'll be honest with you. When we moved it at C10 Nationals, I think it was, dude. I was like, oh.
Which one? What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
It's not the same chassis every time. What do you
No.
mean?
But when I saw, I was like, dude.
C10 Nationals. Yeah. I understand.
Oh no, you remember.
I remember. Well, it gets bigger. It gets bigger.
You're thinking about Big Fish. You think about what happened in Houston. So
I'll tell you what happened in Houston if you want to go on a different show.
No. We're cranking. Yeah, I've been to Houston with Big Fish as well.
We drove like 2 hours out of the way.
Oh, dude, I know. Sometimes I'm like, dude, why are we going this far? Yeah, it's back there. There's a door too. Pick up a Corona on the way for me. So how much? How much if I say, you're coming to Texas, I could save some money?
$300. $300 to $500, yeah, depending on what's going on. And I mean, we're looking
How many can you bring?
We could do. We've brought 3 before.
Okay.
We're looking at new trailer options, kind of like looking into stackers and stuff like that for that purpose.
Does it come with a fuel cell?
No, we can make you fuel cell.
No, you need a fuel cell.
Why?
Because
the truck.
Yeah, the truck.
Man, yeah.
You had to stop more than Yellowstone.
That truck's a beast, dude. Come on.
I know, but I'm just saying, you got a lot of money tied up in chassis delivery. Let's get the boss.
I need a break every once in a while.
Let's get the boss to get a 40-gallon, 50-gallon, 60-gallon, 100-gallon
to get
auxiliary
he'll
tank.
Be like, we're not getting shit, we're making it. That's what's gonna
happen.
Then
make it.
That's why it's not there.
Next thing you know, GSI's be sell fuel tanks.
We do sell fuel tanks. That's another thing you may not know about us.
I don't, obviously.
Okay, let's get back to there. We don't. We do make our own fuel cells.
Corona, they're in the door there.
We almost every chassis we sell comes with one of our own fuel cells. We haven't really marketed them because we haven't.
So why not just buy a fuel cell? Why spend the amount of time when you're already at 18-week lead time? Thank you.
For a chassis?
The C10 Nation.
Another one.
Well, we made our own fuel cell.
So we made our own fuel cell because
we wanted to make the parts.
So we make all the cool billet caps and do all that kind of cool stuff, and it's made for our chassis.
Can you just buy a fuel cell?
Yes, for a stock truck.
Yeah, whatever.
You can make a stock. You can get a fuel cell for a stock chassis. You can get a fuel cell for our back half. Fuel cell for our chassis. Fuel cell for our 55.9, whatever. We make specific
20-gallon baffled.
Yep.
What's the deal?
Yep, 20-gallon baffled. It's got a stealth 340 pump inside. We make we make all the billet parts on the inside, the pump brackets. I even had a guy take his apart.
Sounds like your marketing guy needs to get the word out.
Well, we're not ready yet.
We're not ready.
We don't want to. We've done 50 at least 50 fuel cells. You know what I mean? But we're not trying to get out there and be the fuel cell guy, because then we're just going to get bombarded with aluminum work, and then the chassis. You know what I mean? We got to pick and choose, right?
You have to play all that stuff smart, because we could market the hell out of the fuel tanks, and I mean people would buy them, but if we
might get buried on other stuff.
You get buried on that stuff, and so.
Well, that's what I was saying. Just why not just use one that's already out there? But whatever.
But the thing is, like, again, it comes back to the whole thing, like, of me telling you, like, I like to make things. So I wanted to make my own fuel pump hanger. So we make and machine the top that goes onto our fuel tank. We machine the whole assembly, and we make everything because I wanted it to look different, and I just wanted to make my own.
But I saw a guy took the pump assembly apart, took it out of his tank, and sent me a picture and said, "Holy shit, you guys make this?" And the fuel pump bracket that holds basically the aeromotive pump to like the post, it's like super detailed.
So like kind of like, just to put it in perspective, a sending unit, right? A stock sending unit.
Well, yeah, it's a pump assembly.
But you've got that rod, that vertical rod that the pump is sitting on. You make that.
We make everything. Yeah, we make all that stuff, all the fittings, all of that type of stuff. We make that, and it's just because I wanted to do it. There's nothing other than...
So that's the pump bracket inside. I mean, that's...
So
you never see that.
No, so he's showing me the picture. It's pretty girthy. They call it the Scot fuel pump hanger.
The Scot head.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, it's big. It's
but
girthy.
it's dope. It's not just a block. It's not ugly. It's not a hose clamp. It's, you know what I mean?
That's the things, like, the things that, like, on the inside like that, that's the things that we're passionate about, that we make. And I mean, I made 200 tops. I like to make things.
So right now, how many kits do you guys have, like, sitting on the shelf? Like 5, 10, 15, 0?
No, probably between 5 and 10.
Okay.
But they're not like ready to go. Like they're spoken for. They're sold. Like somebody's waiting on them.
Even
waiting on the back half.
There's no inventory.
Yeah, we are.
Then you'll get ready.
There's inventory, but
there's lots of inventory. It's just
getting it out.
Comes in
the small parts. Like, you know, we make everything, like rod ends. You know, bushings. We have our own bushings made for us. You know what I mean? Like that.
I mean, I was buying bushings, and out of necessity, it's the same thing. You talk about, well, could you buy bushings? Well, yeah, I could buy bushings, but out of necessity, I was not able to have enough bushings from the company that I was buying them from. So we had a mold made, and we plastic injection mold our own polyurethane bushings.
So we can get the volume and the quantity.
So that we can get the volume and quantity that we want and that we need, you know what I mean?
No, you're not waiting.
We're not waiting.
That's frustrating for you.
Well, yeah.
It's frustrating for all you guys too.
Everybody,
like,
customers, and everything.
We've had to ship kits and say, bushings back order. Like, you don't want to do that. Like,
I don't want to have that issue, you know what I mean? So I'll spend the money and have a plastic injection mold made so that way we can have as many bushings as we possibly need.
Have you seen, what's the level of production trucks that have come in? Because I've seen meaning full builds. Like, you've had full builds at the shop.
No way.
But you did.
Yeah, we have had them.
I think, I would say, like, in year one or year
one
two. Right?
One is when we were like, yeah, we'll do it. Yeah.
Well, you said awesome. We won't say no.
Well, that's the... Sorry, Nick. Like, that's Nick's big thing. He's like, say no. He'll be in the back. Say no. Like, oh yeah, a Buick Riviera. No, we don't have a, and Nick's
well, that comes back to the whole like marketing and get your name out there. You know what I mean? But the full builds are just, there's people that are specific and they're really good at that. Dell is really good at doing full builds. You know what I mean?
Let those guys do it. You know what I mean?
And let
buy
those
a
guys
chassis from us and have one of those guys knock it out for you. I mean, one, it'll probably be done in a faster time. Because we're not a build shop. 1 or 2 clients that we work with, and they're super cool. And that's probably where it's going to end, honestly. Like, we'll mess with our own stuff, probably forever. I mean, definitely forever. But as far as, we'll never bring another full build in the house. I'll say no to that. For sure.
Yeah,
so don't ask. We can get you set up. We can get you a chassis. I can recommend a few people who know, depending on what area you live in. I know some really good guys who could get it done for you. I know people who can do different aspects of the build for you. But as far as us doing it all in-house, it's not going to happen.
It seems like it's just not worth the time.
I've talked to some really successful car builders, and it took them a really long time to get good at it. Not building the car, but managing
that process.
The client, the whole thing. It's a ton of work, and we need to stay focused on what we're doing.
We're manufacturers. Parts, yeah. You know what I mean? We're manufacturers at the end of the day. That's what we do.
And like that purple truck at 16 SEMA, that was built 100% in-house. You know, I mean, Marco painted that truck. He bodyworked that truck. That's how we came across Marco. That's how we got connected.
It's a 68.
It was
68.
It's purple and white two-tone. I mean, he bodyworked the shit out of that thing. That was, and
We
he
did
painted it. It was a
everything.
beautiful truck. You know, he did all the sheet metal work on it and all that kind of stuff. We did a full, not a full chassis. We did a front kit and a notch kit and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, all the way to the interior, and he wired the motor. He wired everything. Like, that truck was built in-house, and that was a trying kind of time. Like,
And
he was like sleeping on the
from a
floor.
business sense, a losing venture.
Well, no, I mean, I started that truck for my cousin. And that's what we built. We built that truck for my cousin. And it's just, we have to stay focused on manufacturing our product line.
Yeah, that's a great point. You can't get all the squirrels, which I'm a squirrel. I mean, I got squirrels everywhere. If you've got squirrels, then it's hard to keep up and keep the product moving. And it's like, okay,
Exactly,
we want to be really good at this. This is what we're doing. This is what we're.
I mean, yeah, you want to talk about lead times and stuff like that. That's only going to get worse. The more you try to take on and put on your plate, it's only going to get worse.
Well, and you got to manage people to build the trucks and everything else.
And it's not even necessarily the people who are building the truck. It's more or less like the client. They got wild ideas, man. Like, you got guys that watch freaking Ken Dig It and freaking Gas Monkey, and they come in with pictures on the wall. Do this, you know. Do this, do that. It's like, man, that's going to cost you $6,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I just would be like, here's Dell's number. Here you go.
Well, and that's I mean,
I've even talked. I said, hey, look, I got this guy. You want him?
Dude, you got,
like,
you got guys who build really rad trucks and really rad shit, and it's like,
if you can, if those guys are good at that and they know that process, and then I would, you know what I mean, I commend them for that, because that's, you know what I mean, that's a whole nother talent, and continue to say that. I mean, but we're manufacturers, we make stuff, and that's what
we'll make the parts for the builders to use. Basically, I mean, like, you can have, you know, like, yeah, Dell, freaking Jeremy. I mean, Rick down in Tucson, or Benson, or wherever. I mean, he's putting nice trucks together, and he's a good customer of ours. I mean, he likes our chassis. He's got some stuff. His personal truck's on one of ours too, and I mean, I can plug you in with those guys. I do that a lot. You know, we'll say the chassis. This guy will take it from there.
Well, we're spoiled. I mean, even like some of the different things from, you know, from Switch to now you got Corey at Broken Bones is doing stuff for AZ Pro. Mm-hmm. You got Big Ten Bowman. We got guys all over the place. So you got Jeremy. You know, there's a lot going on. Where do you guys see yourself? It's funny to look back, and we did the first video. We were involved with you guys doing the C10 era build. That was like, if I think was like chassis 2. But I don't know.
Yeah, that was early on, dude.
Yeah.
He got with us early on, and that was a great time.
Well, and you look 5 years, right? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years from now?
Yep.
I think we'll be in a different shop. You know, we're kind of bursting at the seams right now. We picked up another little shop down the street, actually, for more stuff like that.
Do you think the gun side will stay in the shop you're at now, and then the automotive will move in a different shop, or will that be too hard because it'll be hard for you to do both?
We've kind of explored both.
Yeah, as my brother's done more, like, I really love having my brother there and doing the stuff that he does. So he has a handle on that really, really well. The automotive stuff, as far as like welding and all that type of stuff, I can see in another building doing its own thing, to where the machine shop and the manufacturing of those parts and stuff like that are being made there, and then being shipped to another building to where the guys can weld them and do that type of stuff, because that'll help with the separation of the two companies a little bit better, where basically, and they are now, like, the machine shop is a vendor to GSI MFab.
Yeah, so we it's like Bill at Wasling's, for example.
Yeah.
We cut a PO to GSI International, and they make them for us. That way, the paper trail and all that stuff's legit. It'll be the same thing, just two locations, pretty much. That's 5 years. I see us in a bigger shop. More guys on the team.
Do you think the new shop will be like on Power in Guadalupe or something? Or
oh, dude, I would love that.
Yeah, right there, right on Power Road.
No, we're probably going to like Tucson or Maricopa.
Yeah, if Joey gets his way. Yeah, halfway, Casa Grande.
No, man, I don't know.
Somewhere far.
That's hasn't, like, we've looked at buildings and shops like in the area to stay close, but nothing's really solid.
Yeah,
I mean, but it's 5 years, man. Yeah, I mean, I would love a new shop because we are cramped and not cramped, but out to expand anymore. We definitely need some more stuff. We're bringing on some new guys within the next like month or so. Some talented welders, and another, like, kind of off topic. Like, we're kind of being sort of sought out by some people in other states. guys are hitting us up. I'm gonna move to Arizona to work for you.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. That's kind of humbling, and I really like that. So that's gonna happen.
Do you think that also, although that's probably flattering, but don't you think that I feel like that could be a stressful situation because you're like, all right, yeah, you're gonna move your family and you're gonna do all this, and then it's like,
yes and no,
you're
but
not really cut out to do this job.
That's their choice. They got to be ready to make that jump. You know what I'm saying? Like, the job is what the job. Like, we flew these guys in for interviews. They didn't just hit us up on DM like, yo, I'm moving. Let me get a job. Like we said, let's set this up. They're flying in. We're having working interviews. We do tests, like weld tests, and we have them sit down with the guys. I talk to them. Anthony talks to them. Nick talks to them. They're a good fit. Okay, go home and think about it, and we'll catch up. And next thing you know, we either do it or we don't do it. I mean, we've talked to people who don't do it too.
Yeah, whether or not they're gonna move or relocate.
But, I mean, that is a huge step, but it's on them, honestly, man. Like, I can't put that kind of pressure on myself, like, to cater and make sure that, I mean, I do. I feel like we take good care of the guys, and I try to have really good relationships with them, which can sometimes be a bad thing. But as far as guys coming from out of state, you got to be ready to do that. If you're willing to make the jump, you got to be ready to kind of take what comes with it, So, adding to the team 5 years from now, adding to the team, growing
new
our
building,
crew.
adding to the team.
Yeah, and just making
Somebody else going
parts.
to the shows while you stay at home.
I love the shows, dude. Like I love doing it.
Dude, you'll be like Dino.
It's tough.
You just fly in, kiss some babies, and fly out.
Yeah, that's actually where it's headed. But because it's tough for me to be away from the shop.
See, and I like being on the road. I like driving.
Yeah, but the problem is everybody here is a family man. I mean, at this juncture of
And
our
so
life,
I got
it's hard to be away.
I got
And then they're like, oh, well, I'm still working 60 hours a week. And then, hey, babe, I'm going to manage, and the kids. And so it would be nice, I'm sure, as much as you guys do travel and how we even alluded to it, putting the face, putting the handshake and talking to the person, the customer, but to fly in, kiss some babies, and fly out. Now, SEMA's a different entity, but C10 Nationals, LST,
I'm flying
but he flies to some of those.
I'll be doing that. I mean,
my kids are a little bit older than his kids, so last year, as some of the people saw, like my son was hanging out with us at. I took both of my kids on the road last year, and we were gone for
3 weeks.
4 weeks. We went to California, started in Brothers. We had 2 trucks and trailers, and I had an RV, and it was fun. I mean, my son.
Yeah, for you guys, if you could hit the circuit and turn it into a vacation and hit Columbus and
hit
Power Tour, anything like that, but it's a lot. And you guys are obviously already. Yeah, that'd be fun. That was my goal.
That's on the list. Yeah.
The GSI Roadies.
Yeah.
What do they look like?
Cool, huh?
Big fish.
Maybe.
But also, you don't want to get to the point where you kind of lose.
You got to go
the
to
roots,
the shows.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't ever have to point, I'm not going to shows anymore. I got a guy to do that. Like, I'll never do that. Like, we'll be there. I'll be there. He'll be there. And my kids will be there. Like my kids are little right now, but, like when we do Good Guys in Scottsdale, my kids are there. My wife comes out. I love it. We spend usually one day together, and then, I'm on my job, of course, but they kind of know, keep your distance.
So
and stuff like that,
the thing is, and this isn't like the Dr. Phil family management plan, but as Anthony can tell you, my kids absolutely love going to Good Guys 5 years ago. Yeah. But now my kids are, Payson's 16, almost 17. And then, the problem is now the kids are so busy on those weekends with sports and activities and everything else that it does become like, oh shit, man, I've got to be in 6 places at one time, and so that comes into it. But 5 years, we're almost at 2 hours.
You want to talk like product? You want to talk like product, like stuff like that?
No, I think we'll just figure that as it goes. So let's wrap it up. Social media, Dan, anything to add? Because you have not said hardly anything the whole time. You've been serving us cold ones, and everything's been going good. So what can we expect from a social media perspective from GSI, as things kind of evolve here?
We'll just probably keep going with the videos. We're having a lot of success with Instagram right now. So, some people have been saying, they want more YouTube videos. So we'll probably be doing some more, that's kind of how GSI got its name, I think, is through the YouTube. And so, we're just going to keep going with that. We have a whole bunch of new merch coming out. We got one of the shirts that came out.
It's a rad shirt.
Thanks. And we have some new ones coming out probably next week, beginning of April.
Different body style?
Yep.
6772? Nice.
Nice guess, yeah.
Cool. I didn't say that. What are you talking about? I didn't say anything.
You gave me the wink.
That wasn't about the shirt, though.
Oh. Talk about that later.
Deep. I start winking at people.
We'll talk about that later. Okay, so
Man, he does have a voice for radio. Dude.
yeah, he's
Dang,
got it.
Dan.
I know, man. He's picking. I'm looking at my recorder.
Huh?
It's picking him up good. So you got a new shirt coming out. You've obviously kicked the shirt out, the 60 to 66 style.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some new merch coming out and that type of
The
stuff.
hats, you guys obviously kill the hats, right?
Yeah, we're gonna keep the hats going. Maybe.
I mean,
some new
it's kind of
styles.
a cool thing. I like doing that.
It's fun.
It's a fun.
You know, the car shows, it's fun. The merch, it's fun. Making videos, taking pictures.
Yeah, you have like
know.
a dream job,
Oh,
dude.
it's
I
awesome.
mean,
And I mean,
yeah, you
all
don't
have
have weld or
dream jobs,
anything.
dude,
You're just
like-
like, hey, today on YouTube.
well, yeah, I mean, that's what's kind of cool about my perspective is I can be like, I don't really know what any of this is, so I'll just be like, hey, what is this? What am I looking at? And, you know, these guys will just explain it, and these videos, like, they just kind of take a life of their own, kind of, you know, like the podcast. It's just like, tell me what you're doing.
Yeah.
And, you know, we shot one today where we put in a sway bar on Huckleberry. And so, you know, we'll probably putting that out next week or so.
So check them out on YouTube, social media, obviously on Instagram, Facebook. And then if you want to get a hold of Scott directly, if you want to call the shop, how do they get a hold of you? How do they buy a chassis?
So usually so website, a lot of it's website driven. There's a request a chassis, or request a quote form. So hit me up on that. I usually get that going. Call the shop. I mean, even on our Instagram, there's a text line.
Text
You can
us.
text me.
Yeah, you can text.
That's the best way.
I don't love to do FaceTime anymore with guys, but you know if I have to, I have to.
with guys.
I'm not. It's happened.
Yeah.
It's happened.
Oh, yeah.
Oops. Ah.
You know what I mean? But I have literally like walked out to my truck even to like show people I'm like, hey, this is kind of how this setup goes, you know, because they're, like I kind of said before, they're working on their stuff after hours. They got jobs, man. Like during business hours, they're doing their job, they're grinding, and then they go home, they want to work on stuff. I got to be there to kind of talk to them. Like, I mean, in time zones, different shit like that.
Time zones.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you know, but at the same time, you know what I mean? Like, we all have families, so I mean, we try to see if people can respect that a little bit, but if you do need stuff, then
I'm not saying blow me up.
we're definitely always willing to
but-
try to help people, but we do have families, and so we try to keep our...
You know, hit
What
us
about
up.
what about a catalog? You guys have a catalog?
We have like flyers and brochures, like stuff like that, and they're like kind of year specific. So we have one for like the 55.9 product line, the C10 product line, and then kind of like the billet parts line. You know, door handles and steering wheels and like little trim pieces, LS parts and stuff like that. But one like major catalog, no.
Check them out at the show.
Yeah, show. We have them all.
I mean,
show.
our website has
website.
literally everything. Like, we put everything. You can buy anything pretty
Other
much
than
that
the chassis, you need
that
to
we
do a
make
request form.
online. We have a couple of things that we are in the works with.
But if you're at a show, you know, hit them up. So what's
Yeah,
your
if
what's
you're at
your,
the show, you can see.
what's your
everything
show
else.
schedule for 2019?
No, we're doing at least one a month. I mean, the next
So-
one we're
so
doing.
throw it
Classic
out
Truck
there, and then we're
Nationals.
gonna take
I don't
it out.
remember them all.
I'm
We got Classic Truck
googling
Nationals.
some Garth Brooks to take us out here.
Are you? Friends in Low Places?
Yep, I got it dialed up right now.
So we got Classic Truck Nationals in like, that's like in 2 weeks in Waxahachie. That's Terry's show.
Oh, yeah, okay.
For
You're
everybody.
going to that?
Yeah, we're doing that one.
All right,
That's
that's a good
for
one.
Ford, Dodge, everybody. Then we're doing C10 Nationals in May. June, I don't know about Brothers now because all that stuff.
June 16th, Father's Day.
Good job.
Yeah.
See ya.
Well, I
I'll
posted it.
Skype you.
I don't think I'm going.
Day before Laura's
I
birthday.
can't
we're
go.
not going.
That's
Yeah.
my wife. That's my wife's
Yeah,
birthday,
that's a
Father's
tough
Day.
one for the world. It's
Yeah,
tough,
they're
man.
one day
I'm
apart.
in on it, but yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah. Then we're doing shit, man. Then we're doing
So that was May. So we went from C10 Nationals.
May, June. I think we're off in June
yeah, the
since
spreadsheet.
Brothers isn't happening. We're doing.
We literally have.
we're
like
doing
a
back to
spreadsheet.
50s.
I mean,
Oh, that's
Back
gonna
to
be
50s,
huge, dude.
yeah.
I heard
Back
that
to the
show is
50s.
absolutely.
I mean, you saw the lineup.
That's
at
like
Good
in
Guys.
Minnesota, right?
Yeah, Minnesota. So the lineup at Good Guys this year was we hit the 55.9 hard, and it took off. I mean, we got some really good partners with Premier Street Rods. That's what they do.
Yeah.
So we're doing back to 50s up there. Then we're doing Iowa.
That's in July.
I think it's in July.
There's
I
too
have
many
a poster right in front of my computer.
sure.
So, yeah, then we got
July is the Southeastern Truck National.
we got no, we're in June.
No,
that's
that's
last year.
yeah, that's
Then we got Ohio.
that's Tennessee.
Yeah, we got Ohio for Good Guys.
Yeah, Columbus,
Then,
huge.
Then the following week is Iowa. We got Des Moines, Iowa.
Okay.
Then the following week is Columbus, Ohio. Huge,
Okay.
killer show. Then
and
it's Tennessee, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, and the South Brian Ashley show.
Yeah,
is the
one
same
week
day. No, it's the same day.
It's
Oh, he
just
did it
his-
the same day this year?
Well, it was they
Or was it
good
step-
guys moved the show and it ended up.
It used to
on-
be a week apart, so we could go boop boop boop. But now we're gonna be split shifting that one.
Yeah, he's always like, come out. And I'm like, dude. And
Killer show,
It's a killer show. It's so
You gotta
awesome.
go, and
I know,
those
I
are
would-
the best people, man. Those Tennessee guys, they're
What about
so
the Arizona
cool.
people?
They're all right. They're kind of like Mountain Dew. The Tennessee
Orange
guys,
Groves.
Dude, they're Orange Grove. That's
Oh, yeah, I mean, throw it up
I live here, dude.
I
Look
know.
at all
Throw it
this
up
place,
to
man.
Polex Bodywork. I mean,
Yeah.
last year when I was coming back home, we pulled up with both trailers at his house and stayed
Oh, yeah,
the
he's
night.
got that Blazer that was a Seaman. You
Yeah,
guys had
stayed the night
GSI
at his
chassis.
house.
He built it, but it's for a customer. But yeah.
2017. 17.
17.
Yeah.
Yeah, 17. 18 was when we put the machine gun in the truck and
Yeah.
about got...
Okay. So, and then it's going to go July.
Tennessee's right, so that's July.
Yep.
That's wrapping up towards the end of July.
Hot August Nights.
No, we haven't done
SEMA,
that. Then there's
Get
definitely
Down.
SEMA. We're hitting Get Down this year.
Yeah.
We're gonna pass on the good guys in November and throw everything at Get Down because we were split shifting before. We were doing a little crew at Dino's,
Yeah.
and then the big rig was at Good Guys. But this year
Going big rig at
we're going
Dino's.
bigger at Dino's. I mean that was a great show, dude. Dino's just rad. The
C10 Nation, listen up. If you can judge a show by where GSI puts their big rig, I'm telling you right now, the baton from the Chevy truck world is officially in the 9th year of the Get Down has passed, and the Get Down is a bigger and better show than November. Good guys.
for what we do. I mean,
Yeah. For
those
what
are
we
our
do.
people,
we
man.
do.
I'm
Yeah,
talking
I
to the
mean-
C10
Yeah, yeah,
Nation
yeah.
and the CK Nation.
Yeah.
But it is
I got
funny.
OBS. I got.
Yeah.
Lobo's doing my OBS right now.
I've got 4%, so I want to get this song out, and we are at 2 hours and 5 minutes, which is pretty awesome. I'm glad to have you guys in here.
Thanks for having us.
Dan, we're going in reverse order now. Dan, Anthony, and Scott. GSI. R.I.P. Nick, because he didn't show up. He's probably with his hot wife.
He's
And,
moving, so he's got a lot on his
Oh,
plate
he's
right
moving?
now.
Where's he
Nick's
going?
on like stress level 10. He's staying here. He's just
No, but just moving houses or something.
he's
he's
trying to
getting a
sell
different
one.
house.
I would love to buy a house. I would love to buy anything from Nick. I mean, for the audience,
Hey
this
Nick,
guy.
Nick, you
this,
hear that?
This
I got
guy,
your house sold, bro.
This guy, like, well, you've seen my house. I'm not moving anywhere.
Yeah, no, this house
This
is killer.
guy, this guy, like the gate thing has a
Oh, I
specific
know.
latch.
Get outta here with
He's
that.
the type of guy where everything is
that
like
was
super
cool.
anal. I 3D printed this, and now you can machine fab this. So if you want your gate to open from your master bedroom, you click this.
That was pretty cool.
Dude, that
I'll
dude,
give it up.
that
That
dude.
was cool.
Well, you know what? That guy reminds me. Payson, my son, reminds me so much of Nick. The way that his brain is moving, I'm like, oh my god.
Those two are gonna do this all day then.
Dude, they might. No, he won't because he'll respect him at a certain point.
Good.
But then eventually he'll be like, that'll be down the road. All right, so
no,
we're gonna do
we
this.
love
We're gonna
Nick.
do this for Nick. This is live. I didn't want this live, so this is live. Let's go here and let's. Now I'm at 4%. Let's go here. The most played song of my youth, pretty much right here.
There it is.
Picking it up pretty good actually. This is for Nick's truck.
Garth.
Garth
Did it happen?
or Roots.
Did it happen? Is it officially like
No, he was saying. I said no offense. He said Garth, and then he said.
Deuce? I think. I think that's why it didn't play out.
Why would it be Deuce?
I don't know. He said Deuce one time. That's what sticks in my mind. Garth.
Oh, because it's got dual wheels or two. Yeah.
Did it just happen? Like, can you put it out there? It's
I don't
called
think it's
Garth.
Garth yet. I'm gonna think about it. Yeah. I think no fences.
No fences.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about wild horses.
No, Wild Horses.
No.
Not the name.
Garth. Yeah.
Well, Garth can be the Wayne's World dude too. Like, I mean, it can go both ways.
Yeah. We call it Brooks, but you already took that.
Yeah, you can't call that Chuck Brooks.
Yeah, you already took that. We'll come up with something. Boots, roots and boots. I don't know. I'll think of something.
Yeah, it's up to
The
you.
thing's
The
pretty
ball, the
rad.
ball's in your court. That's a heavy burden, dude.
Mini.
That truck's gonna come out like banging, like by the end of the year. He's got a goal, and he's gonna hit it, and it's gonna be doing big smoke.
So you're saying get down, it'll be there. It'll be ready.
I mean,
You gotta put him on that now.
I mean, the get down is where what'd you say, pass the baton?
Yeah.
So it's gotta be something.
All right, get down.
I'm taking it home.
The unofficial, official.
We're taking you out
announcement.
with. This is such a gay picture of Garth Brooks.
Is there a non-gay picture of Garth Brooks?
Dude, I'm not saying that he's that gay. That's a gay picture.
That's been like Photoshop.
but didn't he come up? What was his
Chris
alien?
Gaines or something?
Yeah, Chris Gaines. We should go as Chris Gaines.
No, that's the fake Garth Brooks. That's the fake. You can't do that.
Gaines. Hey, what kind of power gains do you have? All right, C10 Nation, we're gonna take you out.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Corona, Garth Brooks, and GSI.
And what is this? Gay water?
Yeah. No.
Fancy water?
Fancy water. We call it fancy
Happy
water.
water.
For the GSI guys, thanks for coming down.
Thank you, Ronnie.
I think if I could have every guest come in like this,
You should.
I know, but
Let's
I don't
go
think
here.
I'm not Rogan, right? Where people are just
You could
be coming in.
I mean, yeah, why not?
We'll bring the film crew.
All right, we'll do it.
Brought
You
by
are.
GSI.
You just need to bring more batteries. and
C10
parts.
Rogan.
Yeah, dude, I'm checking my battery in this thing like crazy. Don't talk about what happens back there. We'll only talk about what happens up here. Those are for sale. Those are for sale, dude. Those are gonna supply the finances for the next phase of the shop.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the plan. Especially, we can talk about the new truck. That thing is rad. 78. 78.
Oh, yours.
Yeah. The one that's the next
you're
one
allowed
for
to talk
sale.
about.
Yeah, I'm allowed to talk about that one. And the 69 is for sale. The 78 is for sale.
Sounds like everything's for sale that wasn't for sale 10 seconds ago.
No, the 72 Cheyenne, my orange and white one, never sell that one.
63's for sale?
The 63 depends on Mama. That's Mama's truck. That's Mama's truck.
Nah, don't get rid of
The
that.
You already
74
told me the number
K5
on it.
Blazer. I didn't tell you nothing. Yeah. All right, that's it. We're taking you out. I'm gonna hit end, and thank you guys for coming.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you.
You got a rad house, man. Thanks for having us out. This is a good time.
We have
Yeah,
to,
awesome.
We have to say late.
Late.